Yeah, I've been there, you know I run that, and you ain't from.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Three Brothers podcast. I want to say edition 3. Is that Junior? How we doing? 3?
Episode 3.
Right, edition 3. Something just occurred to me. I watched the playbacks of these previous ones we did. Never introduced myself or us. So,
Yeah, you did.
I don't believe I did. I introduced you guys,
But not yourself.
not myself.
Oh,
So let me
okay.
start off by doing that.
Yeah.
I'm the moderator. My name's Alan Manley Sr. That's my brother Phil Manley, and this is our big brother Jay Brophy. So, yeah. not
You're
the
also
brother-
the creator.
the creator, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So, I wanted to get that out the way. Also, before I forget, I want to give our email address because that's something else I kind of failed to do. Email us at the three brospod@gmail.com with any questions, comments, suggestions for the show. We appreciate you joining us. Tell me, give me caught up again on the week. What's been going on?
I'll tell you what, man, I had a reflective week. You know, it was one of the ones that I had a good week going on, and Sunday, my wife took the kids and we're gone, and I sat back and was watching some basketball stuff. But again, I was just kind of thinking about things. And I was checking out all the other podcasts, and I'm on X now, Twitter, whatever you call it. And I kind of realized I gotten old, man. I mean, I looked at all these podcasts and all these good things going on, and I was like, either I wasn't aware of it or just not used to it. And I started thinking about, damn, we're in our mid-60s. I said, last time I played football was over 40 years ago.
Yeah, think about that.
You know, over 40 years. And I'm
See,
going,
my mind is still thinking
Yeah.
I'm 35
Yeah,
years
yeah.
old.
but
Like,
that's one of the issues, exactly.
I know
And
I can hit I don't know about running the football, but I can hit a jumper if I had to.
But-
I think I can.
Jumper?
Yeah.
My
I
set
guarantee you,
shot.
you shoot an air ball the first time.
Oh, there ain't no doubt.
Maybe from the foul line.
Yeah.
You shoot an air ball from the foul line. It's in your legs, man.
I'm telling you.
You shoot from your legs, and when you realize you don't have any legs left, that's ball game.
But see, and that's one of the things I reflect on with not only the Parkinson's, brain damage, everything else, my body is refigured, all right? But you know.
You were under the weather last week too, though.
Yeah, a little bit, but that ain't cause that. This is the age part and some of the disease factor or whatever. But it's like my weight is in different areas, but
Right.
the muscle mass is gone, and some of the exercise, the strength, the way I work out,
yeah.
PT. I know, but it's
Not
like
a pro athlete anymore.
yeah,
You can't.
but you know what? You try to hang on to that for some reason, and it guilts you. But then I started looking at the podcast, and I contacted Tony Zarella, my old buddy from Channel 19.
Right, I remember him.
So, another guys, I'm looking at Bridget, I'm going, you know what? We're all old now. These people, he's off air. Guys are older, and how many young guys are out there? And I'm going, I don't know. I just felt like it was kind of not a humble thing, but it was like kind of coming to grips to going, it's all right being older, and I love doing this.
Right.
But, I'm not on a lot of social media. I'm not out there.
Right.
And there is a ton of crap
World
going
is
on.
moving fast.
Yes,
man.
yes.
Moving fast.
So I guess
bro.
that was it. So it was a good experience, but it just kind of like, it just kind of hit home a little bit. I was like, wow, you are up there in age.
Yeah. You know what they call it when you drop dead now?
What's-
Natural causes.
Yes,
causes.
exactly.
That's it, man.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't see any bullet,
No.
entry.
Yeah, how much life left?
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. But that's it.
Okay. Phil, what about you?
I had 2 wonderful experiences this past week. One was getting together on Friday night to play Hearts.
Right.
And outside, it was Friday night, wasn't it?
That was Friday.
Weather was fantastic.
Fantastic, bro.
Didn't get the TV to work, but got the TV working now, so we'll have that going.
Okay, on the
for us.
patio out there?
Yep.
Okay.
So that's all good to go. And then Sunday, first round of golf of the year. And that was fantastic at Turkey Foot.
Oh,
man.
yeah,
The
good.
only issue was around the 8th hole. There was a tornado warning, actually.
I was going to say, right.
Siren on Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh man, the sky got so dark and it just got
Temperature
crazy.
dropped.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So we had to go in for about a half an hour and then we were able to come out
Cool.
and finish around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not quite ready for that yet, man. Yeah.
That was my highlight as well. Sunday. Obviously Friday night cars.
Well, how'd you guys golf?
Well, we both had good front nines, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
40-41.
Phil was
Damn.
Phil was you were under par for a
I
few
was
holes.
rolling, man. till that weather changed, man. Then it was a ball game.
Well, yeah.
I think you doubled 9 and you ended up shooting a 40. So you should have shot in the 30s.
Wow. Yeah.
I shot a 41.
All right.
And
You had a good week the week before, too.
yeah, I won a couple dollars, but my back 9 Sunday was horrific.
Well, weather factor, you take a break at this age, you start tightening up a little bit. It's kind of hard to get back in the swing.
And another thing, when your wheels come off, I can't put them back on again.
Yeah.
Like when I was younger, I get myself together.
Yeah.
Put the wheel. I can't put them back on now.
Yeah.
So when the wheels fall off now, bro,
It's good.
yeah, I kind of drag myself to the finish line. So,
Okay.
I end up. I did get a skin some kind of way.
Well, there you go. And
Yeah.
front 9 went
Couple
well.
bucks.
Hey,
Couple bucks.
baby steps, man. Yeah.
So, all right. So this week, a lot of stuff going on as usual. We're gonna revisit some of the things our president did, Mr. Trump. We got some stuff on Elon. And we got some fun stuff too. March Madness is starting, obviously. We got some golf news. But let's start off right away. And I want you guys to help me understand something. President Trump claimed without evidence that Biden's pardon for the members of the House Select Committee were invalid because of this auto pen. What do you guys know about that?
Isn't that what we do when we sign documents these days? When it's just, you're online with somebody and they just say, elect the fact that as soon as you press this button, you've signed it.
Right.
Trump has no basis for that accusation.
Without evidence.
And it could be true. Okay.
Well, let me say this too. For those, because I was not familiar with it.
Yes.
Auto pen is a device that mechanically replicates a person's signature, and I guess it's the use.
And they've been doing the presidency and
Universal
stuff now for
Yeah,
10 years.
yeah. Anytime you got documents to sign. So
Right.
if you're buying a house or
Right.
anything like that, you know what I mean?
Correct.
People can't be together.
Right.
You just give permission online to have
So-
this, when you press that button, then
Yeah.
your signature just goes.
Well, he wants to reinvestigate those people on that.
Yeah, but that,
document.
half the government stuff that's being signed or
Right,
was signed
yeah.
is all be null and void.
And
That's probably
I'm
how he wants to
positive that he used auto pen when he was
Yeah,
president.
no
doubt. Oh, absolutely.
There's just no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Somebody in the circle got to remind him.
Yeah, but that's just another diversion, another way of causing more chaos and something else.
Yeah.
And it's just, wow.
But Trump wakes up every day, and I swear he says, if I could do whatever I wanted, if I had no guardrails,
Yeah.
what would I do?
Yeah.
And then he goes and
That
does that.
basically
You know
does
what I
it.
mean?
Yeah.
He does it and then says, stop me.
Yep.
And so he gets away with a ton of stuff. And yeah, the Supreme Court pushes back or
Right.
Congress pushes back every once in a while. But man, he's done so many things that it's not even funny.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he knows until he knows, right? Just like the judge who he did that mass deportation of the people to
Yeah.
Venezuela.
But
And the
yeah,
judge said, "Wait a minute, you can't do that." He's like, "What? Get this guy impeached
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
away."
right away. And hold up, they were in international.
Let me take a shot at
They were
it.
in
I don't know.
international waters.
Right.
So before we knew that doesn't apply. Come on,
But he's
man.
like the Godfather, man. It's
Yeah.
like trying to kill, what is it, Hyman Roth?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Difficult but not impossible. You know what I mean?
And he's
And he
gonna
just
keep
says,
trying.
don't do it. Exactly. Exactly.
No.
Oh man! All right, what else is going on? Interesting. Another piece of news. I don't know if you guys have paid attention, but the Tesla sales have dropped dramatically here in the U.S. And the stock prices have absolutely plummeted. They peaked. I think the stock price peaked around mid-December, and since then it's dropped 50%.
Yeah.
U.S. sales for EVs, electronic vehicles, collectively are up 16%, but the Tesla is down 2%. In China, EV sales are up 85%.
Wow.
Tesla sales in China down 49%. Germany, EV sales up 31%. Tesla sales down 76%. So this is a worldwide thing. And I'm sure TARIFFS may have something to do with that as well. What's your take on all that?
If I needed the President of the United States to drive my car on the front lawn of the White House to sell it, I'd probably conclude that I'm not too good at my job and I should get fired. That's what I think.
Right. And I totally agree because I'm like, yeah, he's the main reason that these prices and this take on Tesla is going on. He is.
Yeah.
For what he brought on everybody. There's no confidence in this guy. And to me, he's bipolar. He's up one minute, down the next. he just because he's a billionaire doesn't make him right.
Oh,
I mean, there's a conflict of interest too, though, because the tariffs are driving up the price of these cars because of the components.
Conflict of interest.
Yes, his new best buddy sells Tesla.
Yeah, you know what though? That is the one thing I thought Trump really did well. To me, he is a used car salesman. So I mean, having it on the lawn doing that, right up his alley.
Yeah. But think about this: people are jobless all over the place, getting fired. You got a billionaire taking time out of his day to help the richest man in the world because he's losing money in his business.
Yeah.
So it's not about, you know, you and I or the regular person that's trying to, you know, survive in this world.
Yeah.
This dude is looking out for his buddy and seeing what he can do to help him.
Right.
It's just, it's ridiculous.
No.
Crazy.
That was enough.
Okay. There was some other news, entertainment news. Not a lot to talk about, but did you hear about Tracy Morgan at the?
Yeah.
Yo.
Luckily, it was food poisoning.
Oh yeah.
But
Tracy's had a rough few years there.
Right, but my first thought was, did he get it at the arena?
Well, before it was diagnosed as food poisoning, though, there was some concern.
Oh yeah,
because he's had a
absolutely.
rough few years,
Absolutely.
that accident.
Took him
and
out in a
everything.
wheelchair, right?
Yeah. And I guess he threw up all. He made a joke that the Knicks won. He said that was they're 1-0 every time he throws up.
Right.
On the floor.
Yeah. Well.
But he turned out to be okay. It was food poisoning.
Yeah,
so.
but that was my thing. Did he get it at the arena, or did he get it outside of there?
I don't
Because
know.
that could be a little bit of an issue too.
Yeah. Well,
No.
if he got it at the arena, chances were there could have been other people.
Yeah,
in
that's
the
what I'm
show,
thinking. Yeah.
So.
I was kind of making light of that,
I have a friend. I think I'm gonna be saying this a lot, actually. I have a friend whose wife throws food out the day that it expires.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
really?
Oh, it drives him crazy.
Yeah.
telling
I think I heard from
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could eat stuff, that it's just, and that's the sell date. It ain't like
Right.
the eat date. You
The
know what I
sale
mean?
date.
Right.
They have this guy's wife.
Boy.
Whatever.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah, throwing away $1 million worth of food, man, over the years.
You ever had food poisoning?
No, I
Yes.
have the.
I have too.
Yeah.
I got the digestive tract of a crocodile.
Really?
Yeah. Nothing bothers me.
I'm pretty good at that too,
Yeah.
but I've had food
I've
poisoning.
had food poisoning.
It's ugly.
It
It's
is.
ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's debilitating. So, all right, let's move off of that before I get sick. It's March, so you know what that means, March Madness.
Yeah,
Right?
man, you kidding?
Now, admittedly, I have not watched a whole lot of college men's basketball, but I did do a little bit of research because I wanted to be kind of prepared. And this was going to be one of the topics. And Jay, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I know you're kind of more on top of this. The top 4 teams, Duke, Florida, Houston, Auburn. How's that sound?
Sounds right.
Okay.
Yeah.
They had the Duke as the number 1 ranked team. Interesting, though, the betting favorite is Florida.
Right. And I'll tell you why. Florida is too deep at every position. They really are. And they've got a bench, young coach, 3 guards that are dynamite, but they also have 2 6'11" guys and like 2 of them coming off the bench.
yeah.
They are very, very talented, and they score a ton of points.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a Gator guy.
Right.
But otherwise, I might have been picking them to win it. Now, I've got Duke if Cooper Flag, and as quiet as a cat, Malik Brown. Malik Brown has to be healthy for me to win it all. Malik Brown's a center, can block shots. He's agile, he'll hit threes.
This is Duke guys?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Duke guys. So both of them are down, but Flag they expect back, even if he's 75%.
Yeah.
He's that good. He's a tough kid who wants to play. When Malik Brown had a shoulder, that's going to be the thing to me. If they get him back, I'll still favor Duke. And because I don't like Florida, I will pick Duke over Florida to win it. But those other teams, Arkansas, very veteran group, coached by Perlis, that he's a nutcase kind of, but Broom is a stud. Houston I like a lot because Sampson, the coaches out there, they will D you up, they'll press you everywhere, and they're a very tough team to play against.
Okay.
So those are legit number 1s.
Now, Auburn was also listed as top 4, but they did not have any of the top players. And I also was looking for Big Ten teams. I guess Maryland and Illinois as well.
Now Illinois is kind of
gonna
up
be
and down,
competitive.
streaky. They're streaky kind of. They can rebound and have athletes. They can play. They can make it hard. Maryland, interesting enough, Maryland can score, put points up. They had a very good record, but they've got a young player for them, a 6'10", 6'11" freshman. A kid by the name of Quick, I think his last name is, Dwayne Queen. My father, Queen. This kid is talented, man. I mean, he's one of those kids that can do everything. Plays with a lot of composure. If they get him going and they play to their capability, Maryland will be a tough out.
Okay.
It'll be a tough out.
Good. So the Big Ten's got somebody, got representation anyway.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, I'll tell you
Go
what.
ahead.
Michigan State is Izzo's got one of his old school kind of teams. They will out physic you. They have a bench. They'll make shots. They'll play tough defense.
They are also one of the in the Big Ten.
Yeah. And I tell you what, if Izzo's going to have a run with a team, this is kind of like his old school team.
Yeah.
They're going to play physical, man.
Okay.
They're going to get up on you. Like Michigan State a lot. Michigan, 6'2", 6'11" guys. Wolf they got from Yale. Wolf is a stud from Yale. They came in there. This kid can shoot from everywhere. Very athletic.
He transferred to Michigan.
Yeah, from out of Yale. And Golden, the coach, is a new coach in Michigan, brought him along from FAU or wherever he came from down there. And they also have role players with them. But they'll play those two 6'11" guys together, and they're pretty damn tough. They can play outside, inside. Really good. But speaking of your Yale team, that Yale coach has been there forever, man, and done a terrific job. Never loses his composure. They're in, and I tell you what, they can win their first round.
They had, I don't know if it was last year or not, they won their first round.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Because there was there was a,
Wolf played that team.
yeah, there was a Facebook thing, like a meme, and it showed a girl sitting in the library all by herself, and it said, Yale celebrating their
Right.
NCAA win.
Yes. And I tell you what, and I tell you, I love the coach because the guy is suit tight. He never changes his expression. He never gets
is the
upset.
Yale coach?
Yes.
Okay.
He's been dynamite. He's been there for years. But he's an underrated coach. He always has them ready. They always come prepared. And they're not an easy out. And I tell you what, they can win their first round game.
Okay.
So I like them too.
And Wisconsin was another team. I totally screwed this up.
Yeah.
So Michigan State, Wisconsin, Maryland, Illinois.
Wisconsin's got Tanjay Agard
Big Ten
that
teams.
is a stud, hard-nosed player. But this Wisconsin team has scored more points than a Wisconsin team normally does. But they've got height, they've got it all. But if they get on a roll, they can be pretty hard to play too. So we're representing the Big Ten pretty well.
So are you excited about the tournament?
Oh,
is
big
it going to be
time.
very
Big
competitive? It's not a.
Yeah, no.
There seems to be these early upsets and
it's going to be again. Like I made up my bracket, and I've got Duke, if they're healthy, beating Florida because I don't like Florida, but they're that good. But I have Arkansas getting in there, Houston, them. But every year it happens. And Drake is a team to look out for. They play good defense. They're tough. Maryland with that big 6'11" kid. There's teams that can make their way in that you got to be careful of. And they shoot the ball well. VCU has got a tough matchup with I forget the Iowa State one. VCU is a team that plays tough defense. They're all over the place. And it just comes down to whatever. It's say if a team is shooting 3-pointers and doing a great job, they better stay hot. And if they don't, they've got to make more. They can't make any. And if you start getting like that, fights make games or fights are strategy.
Right.
And it's going to be, there's some great matchups. And every year you see them. So my bracket sounds great. It'll be broken down by the weekend. It'll be tore up. Because it's just the way it runs.
The thing I see that is a great equalizer in the tournament is that a lot of these schools that aren't highly ranked aren't highly ranked because their strength of schedule wasn't that great.
Right.
But those schools have 4-year players.
You brought a good point. Yeah.
Whereas these one-and-done schools, you know what I mean? Very talented, but not necessarily knowing how to play well together because they haven't done it that long. And then when the tournament comes, the pressure is much higher. So these guys that know each other through the years, they can deal with it a little bit better. And that's why I think those
23-year-old kids are
together.
and they spent 4 or 5 together. That's a great point. And that's one of the things that Auburn has. Auburn with Broom and those guys, they're actually a senior-laden group, which is hard to find. That, like you say, because usually one and done, maybe 2 and done.
Exactly.
But the smaller schools, which is great to watch, is those guys have been there 5, 6, transferred in. They're there 5 years or whatever. So that's a great point.
They did a mock NBA draft that I saw recently. It was like the top 15, I want to say 13 or 14 out of the top 15
Oh, yeah.
were freshmen.
Absolutely.
That's getting drafted.
Wow.
Yeah. It was
Well,
crazy.
Cooper Flagg's going number
Yeah.
one no matter
Yeah,
what.
absolutely.
And again, deservedly so, probably. But there's a lot of good ones
Yep.
that'll come out there. 19.
Yep,
you know,
yep.
Yeah.
I had him as a player to watch. Obviously, Cooper Flag, probably
Yeah.
the top player in the nation. You know, one of the things that seemed consistent in these tournaments that typically determines the level of success is guard play.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And of the top players, I had one guard listed. I had obviously Cooper Flag. I had Broom from Auburn. Then I had Walter Clayton Jr.,
Yes.
6'3" guard from Florida.
Stud.
Yeah, and this Neat Clifford,
Yep.
6'6", he's a forward out of Colorado State. So those
Yeah.
are guys that are listed of folks you need to
Nick
watch.
Clifford's the kind of kid that they can run their offense through. He can do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Put up a ton of points.
Yeah.
He's crafty with the ball and does have that size.
Okay.
Now, the Florida guys, the guard you just spoke of, came from Iona that played for Rick Pitino up there.
Yeah.
But the NIL money stuff took it away. Now, he's like 6'4", physical, and will get up on you.
Mm-hmm.
Very composed, got the experience. They have another guard 6'4", another one 6'2". They're
Wow.
put together.
Okay, that's pretty
They
good.
can shoot, run, and they'll physically rebound. But
Okay.
they've got like 2, 6, 10, 11 guys starting, and then 2 more coming off the bench.
Oh, boy.
They're deep. They're
Okay.
deep. They got like 10 guys. They're healthy. They score a lot of points. Well disciplined, well coached by a young coach. He's only 39 years old, but they're the team that I would say kind of under the radar.
Okay.
But I look going a long way because they haven't had injuries or anything, and that they're going to be a tough out.
Have to keep an eye out for them.
There was a lot of talk about North Carolina
Yeah.
getting,
Yeah.
grace to get
Right.
into
Yeah.
Yeah.
The West Virginia
Yeah.
coach was not happy.
No, him and Indiana and even Ohio State now, because they all had records that basically, depending the grading of these teams now, there's not just like 1, 2 standard. There's like 3 or 4. Quad 1 wins all this. Quad 1 is the higher up wins. North Carolina was 1 of 12.
Yeah.
Quad 1 wins. West Virginia had like 4 of them.
Yeah.
And they had better overall competition records and all. North Carolina's athletic director was on the committee, but
He
said
was
he was
ahead of the committee,
Yes,
I
and
think.
said he
Really?
was
Committee,
said he
yeah.
wasn't
Didn't know
involved.
that. Yeah.
Wasn't involved
Yeah.
in the decision. But that still goes away. I think they get in because of their history. All right, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
Now I'll be honest, I think they can get by that first round or so, but they aren't going much further.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
but I think that's just like in football, people get tired of who's not. Someone got left out. Someone gets left out in basketball every year too. But that was a pretty good compete because Xavier, I'll be honest, Xavier out of Cincinnati, they had a legit gripe to be in the dog playoff too. The way they played, schedule wise, and their wins at different levels. But North Carolina gets in, and
So is this selection similar to football where they go strength of schedule?
yeah,
along
they
with
go.
record and
They've
all that?
got like strength of schedule, BPI, like where you play the road, who you played here, injuries count.
Okay.
So a lot of factors go in. I think they've got to narrow that down a little bit,
Okay.
and that'll come with adjustments. But I think a couple of teams did get screwed, to be honest.
Okay.
But I'll tell you, and this is the same with football now that they've expanded to 12 teams.
Yeah.
If you're not one of those 12,
Right.
you really don't have a lot to
That-
complain
but
about.
that's why I love them expanding like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Because you've obviously, if you're 13, 14, I got 2 or 3 losses.
Right.
You don't deserve it.
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, you got to cut the line out somewhere. Even if they expanded to 16 teams, which they've been talking about. If you're 17 or 18, you got 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here with that complaint. You don't deserve it.
Yeah.
So no, that's big.
Okay. Want to stay on basketball while we're here. WNBA. A lot of chatter from Angel Reese threatening to strike, frankly. And I think they are looking for just more guarantees, higher salary, etc. Listen, I haven't watched a whole lot of WNBA. Anika Agumake is the union president. I haven't heard a lot from her. Angel Reese is kind of taking the helm there with all the, the dialogue in terms of what they want. I think this might be a death blow for them if they strike. I don't know that they have the clout to
The leverage to do
Yeah.
that. Just because they had.
I mean, they're doing better.
Well, they had
but-
that. Well, that's because you had Caitlin Clark and
Yeah.
and Angel Reese.
Right.
That dynamic
Yep.
that really brought to the forefront, the crowd.
Well, they have not been profitable since they've been in existence.
And again, I'm not a huge watcher. I did start watching more because of them.
Yeah.
I have to admit, but I would totally agree that, man, it looks to me like that's bad timing.
I think
Trying
so.
to pull that now.
Right.
I don't know,
right.
Phil?
First of all, I've been watching Caitlin Clark since her
Iowa.
junior year
Yeah.
at Iowa.
Yeah.
And my impression of her, and I've heard this plenty of times, that she's the Steph Curry of women's basketball. Her game is so much more exciting than what you typically see in the WNBA. And I'm not putting down the WNBA from a talent standpoint. I know there's a lot of talent that's out there.
Right.
But she brought something that you just can't deny in terms of her electricity.
Right.
Now, she and Angel Reese, to me, are like Magic and Bird, where you just got this dynamic that is, helping the entire league out.
Right.
Everybody said Magic and Bird saved the NBA. Yeah. So, I'm not a fan of what Angel Reese said in terms of the threat and strike, but she's a young person.
Yeah.
I chalk it up to youthful exuberance, and the WNBA has to understand where they have been from a revenue standpoint.
Yeah.
Now, they deserve their piece of the pie, whatever that pie is, but they have been on life support since that league began.
They lost $40 million last year. They were projected to lose $50 million, so they did a little better than the projections. But they have not been profitable.
Yep.
And the NBA owns 60% of that league, and the ownership of the NBA, I think they're losing patience. Now, again, they're on the up, I think, with the Angel Reeses and the Caitlin Clarks of the world, but
but they're expanding, and that may be a little much too soon or something like that. But I'll tell you, without Clark, they're back to where they were.
Yeah.
And so they better get like a Juju Watkins.
Yeah.
What's her name? Watkins. Yeah. So better get somebody like that has some dynamic. Asia Wilson, is that it? Yeah. Phenomenal, talented, graceful. I think she, can play a role from the standpoint of, the league getting a higher profile. But they got work to do.
Yeah,
So
Juju, Cage Beckett, the people like that are more light now. We'll get more interest. Juju's a stud.
Yeah.
And she's physical, everything else. So that's what I'm going to bring along. But to your point, it's like, remember when the USFL started and they expanded?
Right.
Kill them. They
Kill
said
them.
stay within the teams overseas.
Yeah.
They had that overseas thing. Great. They tried to expand. Kill them.
Yeah.
And I think, to your point, if you expand too much into you kind of dilute yourself, and I think that might be their detriment. I think they're trying to strike with irons hot.
Well, I was going to ask, what do you think about the marketing? Because obviously they want to make players interesting and give backstories.
Yeah.
And that kind of compels you to watch more, I would think, right?
Yeah.
Certainly when Caitlin was in college with Angel,
Oh, yeah.
that whole back and forth, that was must-see TV.
Hey,
That's the most college women's basketball I've ever watched.
I agree.
Well, they outdrew the men.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it should be, I'm looking forward to it. But my prediction for this year, I don't want it to happen, but it's going to happen. Clark's going to be in a fight this year. She's going to, I'm just telling you. They are, and I don't want to say jealousy, but I'm just telling you, she's going to be in a fight this year.
Yeah.
But she
You know what
this reminds me of, remember when Tiger first hit the PGA and he said, hey, I'm here to win. He was like a 18-year-old kid or something. And who was this cocky kid? And his dad was saying, he's going to be the best ever. And like Eddie said, who knew, right? He ended up being the best. But I think there was a time when there was some jealousy. I think there was a manufactured rivalry with him and Phil Mickelson. But they soon came to find out that he was the Golden Goose. He drove those
ratings.
ratings and the purses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You ever see that Curtis Strange interview?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But my point is, Caitlin could be the Golden Goose for the WNBA.
Yeah.
And I think they, so to your point, there could be somebody, that comes for her.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think they have to realize she means ratings.
Yeah.
Of course, now if she does get into a fight with a rival player from a rival team, I'm gonna watch.
Yeah, ready.
Certainly
Okay.
the next time maybe
But-
I'll be watching. But,
My point with regard to her, I don't even know what her voice sounds like. All she's
Yeah,
done
yeah.
is play basketball,
Right.
and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She didn't do the unrivaled thing,
Right.
off season,
Right.
anything like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
All she's done is play ball, not been disrespectful to anybody,
Yeah.
and just ball.
Yeah.
Now, again, Angel Reese is great for the game because
Yeah.
you have this nemesis
Right,
now.
right,
The
right.
antagonist.
Part of it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And quite frankly, Angel Reese is very good for the league also.
Yeah,
because
there's no doubt.
she is battling with everybody
Yeah.
every friggin' week.
Yeah.
So she gets a rebound, she makes a putback, she
Yeah.
blocks a shot.
Yeah.
She's looking at
gets
the
her
person she's
technical.
into. She's
Yeah,
throwing
she gets her
down.
technical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's capitalizing on that too.
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. When your window's open, man, you got to jump in it.
Yeah.
Got to take advantage. So, you mentioned the 3-on-3 women's league. What's that called?
Unrivaled.
Unrivaled. Are you guys watching that? Have you seen any highlights? I know it hasn't drawn a lot.
I've seen a little
I
bit
don't
of
think they've
it.
had huge crowds, but
But-
I've seen some highlights on
Right.
it.
They've got paid, I want to say like 2 or 3 times more than they would get for their WNBA
Well, I was gonna
contract.
mention that.
Something like that.
$200,000
Yeah.
is the average pay.
6 teams, 8-week season.
Yeah.
Right.
3-on-3.
Yeah.
Right.
This is a money grab. I mean, it's
Well, it prevents them from having to go overseas.
Right, exactly right.
So
Exactly.
it's fantastic. I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
I don't I have no idea where that money's coming from because.
ESPN, something like
Well,
that.
yeah.
So I think they put a more than $1 billion in it.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple
There's
million in this league.
I think an $8 billion or $8 million pool, something like that. I can't
Yeah.
recall. But Giannis, am I saying that right, from Milwaukee?
Uh-huh.
Has he's an investor.
Right,
The
right.
ladies coach from South Carolina,
Don Staley.
Staley, she's an investor. It's leaving me now. Junior, can you look up that for me? The investors of that women's 3-on-3.
Yeah.
I know the Greek Freak, Don Staley.
There
There was like 4 names.
Yeah.
Stephen Curry.
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry.
Talking about Unrivaled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steph Curry. And I think it was another
Another
ball
one,
player.
yeah.
Carmelo.
Carmelo.
Okay.
Yeah, see?
And Coco Golf at tennis star.
Coco
Yeah.
Ball. That's what I was thinking
Right,
of female. Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, they have some investors. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but in terms of promotion, which is, I think, one of the biggest arguments why they haven't been as successful, they've got all the promotion they could ever want now. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
on the map. People are talking about them. People have expectations with regard to them. The Fever somehow got stacked in the offseason.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Free agency or
Yeah. I don't know how it happened, but they are going to be one of the teams
Making it
to
work.
beat this season.
Yeah.
And so it should be really interesting.
Do you know, speaking of salaries, Angel Reese's salary, 4 years, total, $324,383, which is a yearly average of $81,096.
Yeah.
Talking about the unrivaled,
Right.
200,000. So
Plus, and she got $50K bonus for winning the championship also.
yeah.
So
That's
she
a nice
earned
full season.
close to $300K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good for her.
Mm-hmm.
Golf world. You guys watching golf still?
Yeah. Yep.
Roy McIlroy won the Players Championship
Time.
On St. Patrick's Day, too.
on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Was that his birthday?
No, I think it was just his Irish lineage.
Okay.
But like he said, he didn't find any green to wear. But he goes, you guys in America, we celebrate. We go, you guys in America take it to another level. So I thought that was pretty funny, though. Yeah.
Nice. So defeated JJ Spawn.
Wow.
JJ Spawn is ranked number 57 in the world. Not too bad. He was a college walk-on to the PGA Tour. I didn't know that. And so it was like a David Goliath matchup. But he's held his own since he's been on tour.
Well, McIlroy needed this win.
He did.
He's
You're
had
right.
some issues
You're
in
right.
final rounds of
It
tournaments.
hasn't closed.
And even this one, I think,
Yeah.
he was up. Well, he was down.
Right.
He was
He
up.
came up, take the lead, and then he
Yeah.
sort of faltered at the end for it
Yeah.
to be tied on
Right.
Sunday
Yeah.
and then to play this. And it wasn't a remarkable playoff.
No,
I think
no.
he won the playoff at
One over.
One over. Yeah.
Right.
Birdie, bogey, bogey.
Right.
So what did Spawn on the playoff hold? Did he bogey 16? Or
Double.
He
I think Roy
he bogeyed 16
So-
and tripled
so Roy-
17.
Yeah,
Right,
did he win the
yeah.
water?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
17 the island. He,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
shot over the green into the water, got a triple on that, and McIlroy got a bogey on that,
Yeah.
and then he bogeyed 18, and the guy didn't putt out.
You know, they brought up an interesting thing, and I heard Rory talk about it. They asked what it was like playing with the lead or playing like when you even have to play to win.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, that really is a feeling. He goes, and I've been in that. And he goes, I've lost tournaments because of that. But he goes, what the difference is, when you're playing to win, you're taking that shot and risk sometimes because you got to win. But he goes, when you hit that shot, your confidence is like, okay, I got this. But he goes, when you're playing, I found this pretty funny, but he said, when you're playing not to lose, he said, you're looking to lay up, play something safe. And when you don't hit that shot right, he goes, oh man, he goes, it's an easy shot. And he goes, all of a sudden you're in the rough. He goes, man, that just, your level of confidence starts going down. And I lost the stroke.
I'm going to tell you personally, one of the hardest things to do is, and we've had matches, 2-man matches. If you're up on an opponent and you have a, 35, 40-foot putt, to lag that thing to within 2 feet, that is so hard, right? I mean, you don't want to shoot to make it because you could overrun it by 4, 5, 6 feet.
You want to blow that.
Come back, but you want to make sure that you two putt.
Right.
And so the idea is to lag that thing, get it within 2 or 3. That is a very difficult thing to do. So playing safe is just not the way.
And it's $5 we're talking about.
Yeah.
So,
You're right.
so that's our pressure.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Compared to that,
Can you imagine what their pressure is?
Yeah.
And you're on
Millions
TV,
of
people
likes,
looking at them. It's
It's
crazy.
easy to just try to make the putt.
Yeah.
We were talking about McIlroy needed to win that. He is still number 2 in the world. I would say you guys know who's number 1.
Scheffler.
Scheffler. Do you know who number 3 is?
Jeez. It's got to be on the PGA Tour, not on the.
Correct.
Who would that be?
Oh man, I tell you, killing me.
I do not know.
Xander Schauffele.
You know what? Yeah,
And number 4, guy's got a great smile too. Boy, is he marketable.
I have no idea.
Colin.
Morikawa.
Yeah.
What a smile.
Yeah.
Number 5 is Ludwig Aberg. I didn't know he was number 5.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that's because he's played his butt off over here.
Yeah.
I watched him on the European tour, and he's a young kid, can hit.
He can hit it. He can do it all.
He can bash, but he's pretty calm in what he does and confident.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be around the state for sure.
So let me ask you this. Is golf more exciting now because you don't know from week to week who's going to win? Or did you prefer that run Tiger had when he was just dominant?
That's a no-brainer question. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
That ain't even a question worth asking.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Tiger, you'd get phone calls
During
the round when Tiger was playing to talk about what he just did.
Well,
you know what I mean?
That was
Look at the
TV.
crowds and look at the TV revenue. I mean, people watch. Everybody was tuned in.
And
that
well,
was something we had never
now
seen.
it's a question of who's going to win, and there's some drama with
No,
that.
and I love watching.
With
I like
Tiger,
that.
it was how much is he going to win by, and what is he going to do after winning?
Yeah.
But he would deliver with such uncanny regularity.
Yes.
And if he needed a putt 10, 15
goodness.
feet on 18 to win,
He's
that
got
thing
it.
was going in.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
No, that was.
Yeah. No, I give him credit. Listen, I'm sorry he's such a physical wreck now.
Yeah.
But he gave us, 10, 15 years of pure
He did.
joy. So
He did.
Yeah.
You know what his ranking is now, by the way? I had to look it up. It broke my heart.
Yeah.
Not that anybody gives a damn. At this
No, I
point.
know, man. I don't even want to say it.
yeah, it's low. Yeah. He ain't no
1,245th.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they counted that high. It's like, you're out
I don't
of the
know.
top
Just
300.
Tiger.
If you're a pro golfer, you got a
Yep.
ranking.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, interesting. What's best case scenario for Tiger? Now that he's ruptured his Achilles, right after, back surgeries and the knee, the leg, what's best case? I mean, just to play on tour, to win a tournament? I think a major's out of the question, obviously. What's a win for Tiger right now?
Muhammad Ali fought Trevor Berbick,
yeah.
and he fought Larry Holmes. And I didn't watch either one of those fights because it was just unwatchable.
Right.
Tiger walking,
Yeah.
he looks like Val Kilmer in
Yeah.
Top Gun Maverick. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
He just,
when he was,
man, he just looks so,
Yeah.
mechanical. He looks like he can't move. You know what I mean? And so it hurts me to watch him. Now, I'm not going to say retire. Do what you love, man, whatever it is. But I don't tune in to Tiger to watch him anymore. Now, if he's doing something on Sunday, I'll give it a shot, but I don't anticipate that happening.
It's been tough to watch, and it is age. You would like to think it would be a story like no other story
Yeah.
if he did. But right now,
Yeah.
I just don't see it. He's a recreational golfer.
What's success for him at this point? Just
Oh man,
mean,
call
you
you guys on the weekends.
do the Bob Hope appearance
Yeah.
once a year.
Well, yeah, I mean, just to be involved in the game, he's got that indoor league thing going.
Yeah.
with Roy and all them, but
And that's a nice thing. I'm glad you
yeah,
brought that up.
yeah.
There's no walking in heels,
Right,
and then,
yeah.
you know.
So that would,
That's not that bad of a. Have you watched this thing where they into the
No.
Simulator?
It's
Yeah.
not that bad.
and
It's
they've
a
been
league?
into it.
That's what
yeah,
it is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a DGL or
It's a
whatever.
3-man
Yeah,
team,
Uh-huh.
and they play other, and it is very competitive.
How do they putt?
They have a
Right.
green,
Yeah,
and they've got some kind of controls to undulate.
elevated.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not the same, you know.
right
Uh-huh.
surface. Yeah,
Like they're in this huge place with this screen that's as big as this wall, and I don't know how
Yeah.
tall it is. So when they drive, they hit the drivers, and it's how they do the thing on TV,
The tracker.
the tracer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
see the tracer,
Uh-huh.
and it accurately shows how far they hit it. They hit a draw, slice, or whatever, and then it gives their distance to the hole, and they alternate shots, I guess.
right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And so, if it's a par 5, they want to go for it in 2. Now, these courses are made up courses, though. So they'll throw water in there at, 285, 290. Do you want to fly it or do you want to lay up? And so they do a lot of creative stuff. I think they even generate wind or something
Yeah.
with fans, but they have sand.
Uh-huh.
And then once you hit the green, wherever your ball lands at, you all walk over to that spot and they do something with the green for that particular hole. So it's not the same green every time.
Right.
Okay.
You got to see it. I don't know if I'm describing
Yeah.
it.
When you say they have sand, you don't mean real sand. You mean it's just part of the hole? Or?
I don't know if it's
No,
real
I
sand or not.
think
It
it's
looks
real
like
sand. They
sand.
take the shots out.
Yeah, they're hitting out of
They have
bunkers.
to hit out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crowds are good.
So you
Yeah,
couldn't put this in your
possibly.
basement, for sure.
What's that now?
You couldn't put this type of
No.
simulator in your basement.
Well, I think it's too big.
I think you could do the screen maybe, but the facility
Right,
is
a
like
smaller
a
one.
warehouse.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
It is huge, but
Yeah.
we're thinking about the seating though. Just think
Right.
about the
Oh, yeah.
what they hit into.
Yeah,
That thing is way bigger than this wall. Though.
Right,
I
right.
mean, because they hit full
Towers.
wedges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how high
Yep.
they hit them, but they have plenty of room to go as high as they need to.
Okay.
yeah.
Just Google it though.
Uh-huh.
I
Right, yeah.
can't do it
It's on
justice.
ESPN.
Yeah. And I wasn't going to watch it. I
they-
started watching. I said, "This." is pretty
They've got the
good.
March Madness up now. There's 2 teams playing, I think, tonight.
Yeah.
Or something that, you
And
know,
they buy in.
they're in their
not,
playoffs. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And there's a lot of conversation. They're
Right,
talking,
right.
There's people in the stands drinking beer.
Talking and
Yeah.
trash to each other.
Yeah,
and
and there's
stuff.
no elements. You're not outside.
Right,
So
right.
nobody's having to walk.
Right.
Yeah.
And very loud and rowdy. It's a pretty good deal. It's going to last, I think.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's very good for Tiger because he can compete on their level.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Because he's not walking, he's not
Yeah.
laboring, he's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
So anyway, I didn't mean to get off on the tangent.
No, that was
No,
fun.
no. I'm glad there's something for him.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, I wouldn't
So-
mind if he. Well, never mind. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
say it.
All right, so this here I put some thought into, and I wanted to ask you your opinions.
Oh.
Now this is one of the best Cavalier seasons I've ever seen, and I mean I go back to our boy AC,
Yeah, absolutely.
right? The Miracle on
Right.
Richfield, all that.
Yeah. Went to those games out there.
I'm looking at this team, man. They got it all. Now I've got some friends who still think our backcourt collectively is too short,
Yeah.
but the defense surrounding these guys are just exceptional with size and ability. Jared Allen,
Yeah.
Mobley, the new guy, DeAndre Hunter.
Hunter,
These
yeah.
guys have size, speed,
Right,
length, and everything. So it hasn't been to me a handicap that our guards are, not 6'5", 6'6".
Right.
But here's my question. I put together the starting lineup of the Cavs championship team with LeBron on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to read off the starting five.
Yeah.
And I'm going to read off our current starter five. And I want you guys to tell me who would win a series. And we can talk about reserves. I got reserves.
Yeah, the
as well.
bench. Yeah.
I'm just interested in your opinion. So here's the Cavs championship starting five. Point guard was Kyrie.
It's over.
Judah and Bridget. It's over.
Al said it's over. Shooting guard was J.R. Smith. Small forward was LeBron James. Power forward was Kevin Love. And the center was Tristan Thompson.
Yeah.
Did you get all that?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Now here's our current starting lineup. Point guard, Darius Garland. Shooting guard, Donovan Mitchell. I think Max Strus starts at the small forward.
Yeah.
And then we have Evan Mobley at power and Jared Allen at center.
But
Well, I'll open it up to you guys. Tell me what you think. Now, reserves play a big part
Right,
in
right.
the series,
Yeah,
so we can get
yeah.
to that. But just on the strength of those starting fives, what's your opinion on who would win and why?
well, the one thing I look at right away though is who's guarding LeBron. Now, if you got
Junior's over there
if you got
laughing.
a Coro in the lineup, or if you've got Hunter
Yeah,
in the
I do
lineup,
Hunter.
you gotta be able to switch those guys up.
Well-
Struce though,
LeBron was like 31 when
Yeah,
they
yeah,
won this
yeah.
championship. So,
as strong as an ox though.
and his 31 was like 21.
Right,
And
exactly.
if you look at how he's
Exactly.
playing now,
But they've got a gambit of guys probably to at least go against him.
Yeah.
I look at Tristan in the middle. I go with Jerome Allen. Just because Tristan's good from 3 feet.
Jared, you can't call him Jerome.
Why not call him Jerome, man? Man, I love the
Now I
guy.
start thinking,
He's my
Jerome.
favorite
No,
guy.
Jerome.
He's my favorite. He's my favorite guy too.
I think about Ty Jerome, but go ahead.
But would you take Allen in the middle? I think Allen is definitely more points, even more rebound and all. Even though Tristan was good at that time, he was not like the offensive threat at all.
Correct.
So, and I look at that and I go, okay,
Well, let me do this then. We got Kyrie versus Darius Garland. Now, none of these guys are defensive.
right?
Kyrie wins that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah,
get Kyrie.
I think, but you know,
But let me tell you something now. Darius
Darius
gonna give him
got
work.
it. Yes,
Darius gonna give him some
he's
work.
gonna have
yo.
to play D because Darius is gonna take him.
So
he'd have to play
I'll give Kyrie the check on that, but shit, not by a lot.
All right, now what about Mitchell?
Now we got Donovan Mitchell, J.R. Smith.
Yeah.
That's Donovan Mitchell all the way.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah,
Easy call.
Because
Okay.
you're hoping Jr. is hot.
Yeah.
If he's not, he's coming out. you know?
Correct. He's streaky. LeBron, no brainer.
Yeah.
He's gonna
Struz,
destroy Max Struz.
Yeah.
Power forward.
Ooh,
Kevin Love, Evan Mobley.
yeah.
Gotta go Evan Mobley.
Absolutely.
Evan Mobley's bigger.
Now Kevin Love's gonna be awful physical with him.
Yep, and
He's gonna be very
Kevin
physical
Love
with
back
him.
there can rebound. He can
Yeah,
shoot too.
yeah, he can shoot.
So, but I got to go with Mobley on that too.
And is Kevin Love a great defender?
He's
No.
he's
Yeah.
he's
That's
physical.
that's a big time
right,
liability.
right.
So we're going Evan Mobley, and then at center, Jared Allen.
Yeah.
Is gonna be is gonna have the advantage
Over Tristan Thompson.
Yeah.
Tristan's
Just because of his length.
Right.
yeah. And Tristan's not a scoring threat, but
And neither is Allen, quite frankly. He ain't a threat to score. I mean,
I don't know if he's a threat, but he's
he's the only
he
one
is.
to me that doesn't look for a shot. When
Right.
he gets a ball at the foul line, he's looking to give that ball to
But he's
somebody.
not afraid to shoot it.
not
and
afraid
he
to
can
shoot,
and he can make foul
does
shots.
right
He
hand,
does.
left hand,
Yeah.
and he has,
Yeah.
and you listen to Brad Doherty.
Yeah.
His footwork is tremendous
Yeah.
in that post.
He covers.
He can feel your
Yeah.
weight and pivot
Yeah.
off and
Yeah.
shoot with the offhand.
Yeah, I don't mean to be critical of him,
Yeah.
obviously, but of the five, he's the least offensive player on the floor for the Cavs.
Yeah, I
as
would
is
agree with
Tristan.
that. I would agree with
Yeah.
that.
And I don't know that Tristan has any offensive game, did he?
No, three
offensive boards.
3 to 5 feet.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tristan's gonna battle.
Okay.
So I got 3 check marks to 2 for the current Cavs.
However,
Now, LeBron
is a big check mark.
is a big check mark.
Yeah.
I mean,
But here's the deal.
he's going to make JR better,
Oh yeah.
right? He's going to make Kevin Love better because he just commands that kind of attention.
Right.
So I think you can't just go, hey, Nico.
Yeah, but you got 4 guys that can shoot the 3 on this Cavs team,
This current Cavs team.
this current Cavs team.
Yeah.
You got Kyrie and maybe JR, and I guess you could throw out LeBron. Well, Kevin Love can shoot the 3 also.
Yeah.
So maybe
What's
that.
What do you want? You're back there growling.
But can they defend against the current Cavs too, though?
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. I
Right.
mean, can Love play Mobley outside?
You know what?
Evan Mobley would eat Kevin Love for lunch.
Just too much too.
Too
He's
much.
6'9".
Now that he's shooting the 3,
11.
It's an entirely. I think it's an entirely different game now.
Yeah.
than when
Oh,
LeBron-
yeah, that's
from
good.
the standpoint of the Cavs. This Cavs team gets up the floor so fast and gets open. So they never stop moving, and this is all of them are moving around the court. They're going to get their open shot.
correct.
And so, and that's where you talk about Garland going to give Kyrie
Make it work.
some fits because Garland's going to get his shot.
Garland's going, he's going to give him some work.
So, but maybe it's the bench that,
I
quite
was
frankly,
just going
tells the
there,
story.
too.
So let's look at the
Makes
bench a
change.
little bit. Here's the reserves from the championship team. Point guard Mo Williams, Iman Shumpert, Matthew Dellavedova, Channing Frye, I'm laughing at Nico back there.
Yeah. You don't like
He wants attention.
Yeah.
Richard Jefferson, and remember Mozgov, Timothy Mozgov?
Oh, yeah.
Big seven
Big
footer.
seven
We got
footer.
from Denver.
Yeah.
We didn't get enough out of him. He didn't stay healthy.
Right.
But man, I was glad we picked him up. Talented guy. He just didn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
Our current bench: Ty Jerome, Greg Porter,
Come here.
Sam Merrill, Isaac Coral, Dean Wade, and DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah.
So, there you go, Snack.
Yeah.
There you go.
I can be quiet.
Okay, so bench wise, which way are you leaning bench wise?
Again, it's a no contest.
No?
This Cavs team's bench
Loaded.
is phenomenal.
Yeah. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
And
Phenomenal.
Delly was more of a defensive guy, especially back then.
He was a tough defender.
Yeah, and
Iman Shumpert's pretty good defender as well.
right.
Channing Frye was a problem. He was 7 footer.
He could shoot outside.
6'10", 6'11".
But you put Dean Wade on him outside and make it work.
Rich Jefferson, good
Richard
solid
Jefferson
player.
was good. Yeah.
Mo Williams was a hell of a point guard
Yeah.
too in his
Yeah.
day.
Yep.
Yeah, I love Mo Williams.
You know the factor that you didn't consider? Coach.
Oh, that's a great point too, though.
Well, wait a minute.
Well, yeah, you had.
What was
Ty-
your point? Because I like
Ty Lue.
Atkinson.
Oh, hell yeah. That's what I'm talking
Okay,
about.
Ty Lue was a good coach though.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Atkinson.
absolutely.
Atkinson
Okay.
is a great coach.
Yeah, he's got a nice system.
But, and this is the other thing. The Cavs team is a championship team.
Right.
So
right.
we know that, the LeBron team is
Right,
a championship team. We don't know yet
If this one.
what this
point.
team
Yeah.
is going to
Good
do
point.
in the postseason.
Good point.
And so if they don't deliver, if they don't make it to the conference championship, it's a failed season for them.
Plus, I'm gonna tell you this too. When you have a guy like LeBron as your best player and leader, I mean that's like a big brother. Right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
like
Yeah.
whatever happens, we're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Now Donovan is probably their leader.
Yes.
But to your point, he hasn't led them to a championship yet.
Not yet. I think he's done a great job.
They don't have
to know
that
role.
guy
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
like a LeBron where you
Yeah.
look up at him and go, "We going as he goes.
Yeah.
We're gonna get on his back.
He's
and
gonna make
and he
everybody
gonna take
better.
us."
Yeah.
They don't have that guy.
And they're gonna make
they got a
everybody
collection of talent here.
Yeah. But I think Donovan Mitchell is getting there though because he gets everybody else involved and takes over what he has to.
Yeah.
So I think he's gotten close to being that guy.
Yeah.
And making a difference. But to your point, LeBron had it all.
Had it all.
He did it to everybody. It didn't matter.
I mean, man, he
Yeah.
showed up ready to work, and
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
you can't let him down.
Yeah. No,
right?
exactly.
I mean, you gotta.
Exactly.
So I don't know, it'd be interesting, but I think this Cavs team that we have currently, I think it's the best team we've ever had as a Cavalier.
Right.
And I think they would beat this championship.
Best
team.
overall team.
Best
Because,
overall team.
Right. The individuals that would make a difference are LeBron and Kyrie. That
Yeah.
would be, wow, like kind of just guys that you don't know what they might do.
Yeah.
They could both go off for 50.
That'd be interesting.
But yeah, I like the current Cavs team. But again, we've got to remember, it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a
You
long
know,
time.
the ball styles changed, everything with the threes and all. But I do love our new team.
Who else? Who's in the league? LeBron, Kyrie, Love is still in the league.
Yeah.
Tristan Thompson's still in the league.
Yeah. Still with the
That's
Cavs,
about
so that
it,
matters.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tristan, Kevin Love, LeBron, and Kyrie. Wait a minute. 3 of the 5 starters
Yeah.
still in the league?
But yeah, that's been about 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow,
9 years.
that is right.
Yeah.
216.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyrie was a young player.
Yeah.
Yeah. And quite frankly, did nothing for that team until LeBron got there.
Oh, yeah.
He was I don't know if knucklehead is the right term, but he was not a leader
No, it wasn't.
Yep.
of that team.
No.
Definitely not.
So good. All right, that actually concludes our table talk for this edition of Three Brothers Podcast. Next we have our hidden gem. Boy, I didn't even preview the hidden gem.
Yeah.
We got a good one this week.
I love it.
My goodness.
Genuine
Ooh.
person, man.
Yeah.
This week's hidden gem. Let me give you a little bit of background. He has done work with obviously high school sports, but he's had extensive involvement with the Cleveland Browns, the Cavaliers, and he is currently the sideline reporter for the Cleveland Guardians. I think he might be. Are they in Arizona right now?
Yeah, and they'll be starting up here soon. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he's to your point. He's worked with everybody.
Worked with
and
everybody.
I don't think you're going to find a more genuine, happy-go-lucky person.
Well, I learned a lot.
Yeah, you know what? And I
Yeah.
actually did from knowing Andre for all this
Yeah, you
time.
haven't said his name yet. I don't
No,
Yeah,
I was still
yeah, I'm sorry, I throw it out
He's
there.
done
Yeah.
work on WKNR,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
WEWS, WTAM 1100. He's worked with Rizzo, all the Cleveland media there. This week's hidden gem is Andre Knott, Cleveland sports broadcaster. So coming up next, stay with us.
St. V grad. Brother.
Yeah.
St. V grad.
You ain't gonna find a better guy.
Coming up next on the Three Brothers podcast. Stay with us.
Running in this house, and when I need it, it don't work.
Yeah, join the club on that, brother. Introducing my brother to my left right here, Philip Manley, and his brother, my other brother, Alan Manley.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Good. Nice to meet both of you.
Same here.
These were my two quarterbacks in high school. That's how I got to college. My boys for over 50 years, man.
That's how it works. You know that's how it is.
Hey, this is the first
Way
guy-
back.
quarterback to start a game at Yale University.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, man. My author here of a book writing. See, in me, I'm the bullshitter of the bunch. And that's why I'm talking to you. I talked about these guys with having like notes, and I went, oh man, I wrote some notes, but I said, I could talk to Dre like off the cuff for 2 hours. So
Hey, and I appreciate that because you know what? I do a lot of notes, but I don't tell anybody. And half the time, I've learned if I prepare right, I don't need the notes out in front of me because I'm a bullshitter too. So I appreciate the notes, but I like most of the time I don't pay attention to them.
what's funny about that is you're a natural, man. And I say that with all due respect that notes or not, you can wing it or anything else. You've got that natural ability to talk, laugh, but you ask the right questions. But you ask good questions. So you were kidding about me and Bernie keeping an eye. Man, we're big fans. We're like, I don't want any news. I tell these guys, I listen to Andre, man. He's honest. He knows what he's talking about. Plus, he's funny. He's got you got to laugh to every story.
Right.
And
Got me in trouble.
I got
Got me in trouble in
something
school.
to tell you later too, though. But I'll come up to it. But
No, you know what? I appreciate you saying that. That's the one thing though is I've been blessed, man. I've fallen right into where I'm supposed to be. I know that.
Yeah.
And everything in my life has happened for a reason to get me here. I appreciate it. Because I got to tell a lot of people, I know it looks like I'm just, I'm shooting the shit, and I am. But I'm at a place where people let me be myself, and it's a beautiful thing when you get
That's
that.
cool. Nothing like it. Nothing like it. Let me do a quick intro. We are the Three Brothers podcast, man. We are just so delighted to have you here. We appreciate you taking time out to spend with us today. Jay's got us all hyped up here with your connection or the connection that he has with you. So I want to do just a quick background here.
Okay.
I didn't want to embarrass you. I've only got one page here, but obviously you've covered high school football, Cleveland Cavs, Cleveland Browns. You have worked on Browns Radio Network as a sideline reporter from 2004 to 2010. You also worked in radio, WKNR, WEWS, W2AM 1100. I guess you work with Rizzo and those guys as well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Was an all-state running back and
That's right.
letter in baseball at St. V, and inducted into St. V's Hall of Fame 2018.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
go on with your fans, Phil. And currently,
When you get kids, you got to brag about that.
that's right. That's right. But hey, you gotta let them know, right?
Yeah.
And currently, we have you listed. Obviously, it's Cleveland sports broadcaster, but sideline reporter with the Guardians currently.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Cool. So, if there's anything I missed or anything you want to talk about in terms of your journey and how you got started, that's probably a good place to start.
Yeah, my journey is cool because it connects all back to Northeast Ohio, Akron, and just how small a place it is, but it's a big place.
Right.
I went to Kent State after St. V, and my dad, man, he's still my best friend. And my dad was always real honest with me, and he was always like, when a coach hangs up the phone with you, he's gonna call somebody else. He's gonna tell them the same thing. And I don't think a lot of people had that same talk, And I grew up, I was lucky, man. My uncles coached that book doing different places. My dad, Arthur Snowden, the Snowden families.
We know your people. Yeah.
I just text my mom. My mom was like, Alan Manley. But I say all that because, man, it's the blessed, like Harvey Sims. Like I grew as a kid, man, I went to Firestone and booked the games as my uncles were doing stuff or as my dad was shooting video. And I always knew I wanted sports to be my life. And I got to St. V and I learned a lot about life and color, which I don't complain about. I'm glad I found out about how people see things and how people treat you because it helped me in life. And I got hurt my first year at Kent. And because my dad had always told me, he was like, hey, man, when you pick a school, my dad told me a couple things when he dropped me off at Kent. And they stick with me. And I'm 47 in like less than a month. But my dad like told me, he was like, you know, pick a school not because of football or baseball. Pick a school because if you get hurt, you will stay there and get an education. And he always kept saying, a coach will get you there and they'll leave in a minute. So you can't be in love with the coach.
Right.
And it was real. So that stuck with me. The other thing is he told me when he dropped me off, he was like, hey man, you know, he was like, you can have relationships the rest of your life. He was like, just do me a favor and give up the next 4 or 5 years and fall in love with a career. Don't fall in love with a girl. And I now that I'm older, I get it.
Yeah.
And I remembered it. And, you know, and so those two things were big because what happened when I got to Kent after my freshman year, man, and I had some bros that I'm still tight with to this day. And I got banged up. I was redshirted and I got to practice and I played, you know, like I had the honest look around the locker room, man. We were the 108th team out of 110 D1 teams. I ain't the smartest cat, but I was like,
that happened pretty easy though, huh?
yeah, I was like, so I got hurt. So what happened? I was so after my freshman year, what happened? They fired the coach who I loved, who had a St. V tie. He knew me forever. He's a Hall of Famer in Canada. He was great to me and my family. But Dean Pease came in. I didn't know Dean Pease from anybody else. I'm sitting on my deck, hanging out with some people you know, Jay, and at my parents' house. And my parents are out of town. And Dean Pease calls me up and basically is like, hey, you're on the roster. I want everybody to come to summer camp. Well, in my hard-headed mind at 19 years old, I was like, nah, my grades are good. You know, and I made a decision. It was snap, but it was real. I knew then I was like, I love playing, but I don't love what this is. You know, the love wasn't the same.
Yeah.
So I didn't quit. And Dean Pease was good to me, man. Like he told me if I kept a good grade average, he wouldn't mess with my scholarship. If as long as I didn't end up in the police blotter, I helped out with the I helped out with the different teams, the Prop 48s and stuff like that. It pissed my mom off of all people. My mom, who hated me playing football, couldn't believe I did that. And my dad, she couldn't. And my dad was like, chill. He was like, as long as he wants to go to school, like we can't fight him on it. And it was the best thing that happened to me because Terry Pluto, who had covered me in high school for the Beacon Journal, he had knew because I wanted to be a writer, and I'd said that. But Brian Windhorse, who everybody knows now, me and him, we've known each other since we were 6 years old. Played against each other in West Akron Baseball League. Graduated high school and college together. We never were tight. But like the first time I went to a AP writing class, the jock in me came out. Like I looked around the room, and I didn't fit in, and I like the rules of writing and all that. It overpowered me for a minute. And so I ended up talking to Terry Pluto, and Terry Pluto told me what every white man tells a black man that speaks well, you speak really well. I can help you with something. And but on the real, he helped me. He knew who I was. He had covered me. Chris Broussard had covered me. I told both of them like kind of what I was interested in, and man, it was beautiful. Yeah, it was beautiful because they got me internships locally. And honestly, I had a professor at Kent tell me when I said what I wanted to do in front of a whole class, and I get it now. I sat in the back. I tried to hit on the girls. Like I got it. He was like, you'll never be on there unless you go to North Dakota. And that was the motivation I needed. I've never left Northeast Ohio. That's the motivation I needed. And it's just a blessing because I remembered a couple of things my dad said. The Terry Plutos of the world. He gave me all I needed was a little bit to get in. And once I got in, man, I haven't let go and I haven't left Northeast Ohio. And it's just been beautiful.
Yeah, you can tell well too.
Man, that was like, I was interested in finding out a little bit of the background because I've never heard that. I've just known you for who you are and a friend, the talk. But I was interested to find out what happened at Kent. How'd you get out of there? How'd you get to know maybe like, this is what I really wanted to do? Because it's all you. It does sound like you were just made for this. But again, how do you get started? How does that happen? I thought
here's a good one for you. So I knew I wanted to be around sports. And at first I was like, you know what? I want to be a sports doctor. And then when I realized how long you had to be in college for it, I was like, shh. I was like, I can talk better than I can go to school for 8 years. So You know, the crazy thing is, and like you'll hear a lot of me, and I need to say this more. My father is just like, he's been my base, man. Like my parents were divorced, but they never let people know that they were divorced. Like, you know, like they showed up at my sisters and I's stuff. And my dad was just like, he was just real with me about stuff. So
That's right.
I start interning at interning at Sports Channel and at 850 in my senior year of college. And I had a girl who I was dating at the time, who I'm now married to, who played soccer, and then she graduated before I did, and then she started school a couple years later than me. But you know, my dad told me the rule: just get out of there one way or the other. I don't care how long it takes. And I started interning, and it was crazy. I was interning my last year at Kent. I had a job already. I wasn't making no money. I was, you know, the crazy thing, and this is the story. My dad knew that it was real. I was taking phone calls on Saturday and Sunday mornings at like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. for a hunting and fishing show. Wow. And they would get like 2 calls, and the dude like ignored me. And like, you know, like I'm 23, like all my boys are going out on Saturday night. I'm working the overnight shift at the radio station from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., staying over to help this dude show who wouldn't even acknowledge me. Funny story, he had to acknowledge me years later when he wanted to be on TV, but that's a whole nother day. But you know, I was kind of pissed. I was in my feelings. And my dad was like, well, if this is what you want, you got it. This is what you got to do. And lo and behold, man, I stayed around and they start doing their NFL pregame show as the summer led into fall. And I was like, hey, I'll take phone calls, you know, for you guys. And then they realized I knew football better than them. And literally 2 years later, I was doing a postgame show on the radio. And David Lee Morgan, I got to put him in there. David Lee was huge for me because he never treated me like a kid. And when LeBron was becoming LeBron, you know, at the time, Jay, like I was fresh in the business and I had some connections, but David Lee truly put me in the front seat of his car for a year and a half. And like when I didn't have a hotel room in Columbus, like, you know, to cover something, he was like, I got you. When, you know, he showed me the ropes, and it's crazy because he's writing a book right now. And he sent me a picture the other day of me and him at a Central Howard St. V game. And he's like, damn, your head's still bald.
You know, it's funny you said that when Dave told me when we were talking about people and bringing on the podcast, doing it. He goes, hey, you know, you got to get Dre Knott, man. He goes, that's my boy. I said, I already got him down, Dave. But Dave and I are real close, you know, and we laughed about that. And I said, Joe, that he told me he was going to be writing a new book, the things that were going on. But it was like, with your story and where you've been and what you've done, it's like, I always wondered, again, how you kind of got there. To me, it was like, I remember watching you play football, and I'm telling everybody who's watching, this cat was a football player, man. It was a hard-nosed brother.
Oh, yeah.
All-state running back.
I watched you in the Madison game. I watched you, I think it was like 20 some yards rushing, TDs. I was going, this boy's for real. You know,
hey, man.
I thought that. But then from the jump from there to you being a sports person was kind of where, you know, and I'm demented anyway, but I was going, damn, how did Dre get there? You know, I wasn't real sure how that happened.
It was the athlete in me. I mean, point blank. It was the athlete in me. It was my whole thing was just let me in the door, man. Like my dad is from Alabama, and I'm bringing him up because you know he's in his 70s now, and I appreciate as a dad and the stuff I go through. I appreciate like what he saw and how he treated people blew me away. And like I knew, like my whole thing was, and I wanted to be like him when I grew up, and it's still to this day. And his thing was always like, because like, and I'm bringing this up because of the times we're in. Like he worked in Mogador. He owned a couple car washes, but he worked in Mogador, and it was like, you know, I'm trying to think of the one. It wasn't DEI at the time, but it was like affirmative action, all that BS. And my dad was always like, you know what? I'm not gonna let that define me. Like my work ethic and who I am and what I am. And by the time he retired, he damn near ran the whole plant. And so for me, it was like I was like sports. Like as a running back, when Johnson Stone looked at me, you know, I was like, just give me a chance. Like give me a chance. And if I don't do it right, I'll go block for somebody or I'll go do something. But you want me on your field. And I think that was the same way I took my career. I got in that radio station, and you know, I didn't step on nobody's toes. I wasn't disrespectful. I knew enough people in different places and different times, and because of my local ties, I could call people up that other people may not have known. And you know how, and like it was hey, this is what God put me on the planet to do. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And as I started, like I would see other people, because I was always in sports how I was motivated, right? Like my dad would always be like, I remember a kid named Quentin Brooks lived in my neighborhood, went to Firestone, went to Michigan State, basketball player. It's like 6'8", 6'6". He was, but I was, I was probably my 10, 11, 12, and I'd watch him run around our neighborhood with weights on his ankles. Like I can remember it like yesterday. And like my pops was like, if he can do it, you can do it. That was like always the motivation for me was always like, if this guy can do it, there ain't no reason I can't. And all I said from the very beginning is just give me a chance to get in the door. I've had great people, like I can tell Joe Tate stories where, here's a good one. And this is one where I went so I was working at the radio station and like right out of school, but I wasn't making no money. Like I can tell you, I was making $8.50. I was still delivering pizza in the Valley for Giannino's. I was doing any side job I could do. Because that was the hustle. The hustle with me was like, I'm a hustle. I'm gonna make this work. And finally, a guy named Joe Fritchie. He is an engineer with the Cavs, still works for the Cavs. Matter of fact, runs all of their production now. Like he's moved up. He was a young cat. He was been in bands and stuff. We didn't know each other. He just saw my work ethic. And he was like, hey, bro, he was like, I need somebody to carry my equipment for my weekly show. Would you carry it? And I'll give you a ride or whatever. I'll throw some money at you. I was like, heck yeah. Lo and behold, after we worked together for about, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, he goes, hey, have you ever run music or DJ? And I was like, man, I'm black. I know music. And we like laughed. And he was like, no, seriously. He was like, the Cavs need somebody to play music in the arena. This is how far we go back with this.
Okay.
And he was like, I'm going to set you up with an interview. And he goes, lie. Tell them whatever they ask. Say, yes, you know the pattern. You know this, you know that. He goes, just get in.
Yeah.
Just do that part, and I'll do the rest. At the time, he sat next to Joe Tate for every game. He was the engineer for Joe Tate. So he got me in. I got the job, and I call him. I'm like, Joe, I don't know what ProWorks is or whatever it was. He was like, don't worry. I'll teach it to you. So, because he knew I wanted to do play-by-play. He knew I loved Joe Tate. So he sits me. So the first day I come in, I'm nervous. It's a preseason game. And this is like 22, 23 years ago. And I sit down and he introduces me to Joe Tate and Joe Fritchin goes, Joe, Andre is a pretty talented young guy. He looks up to you. He does radio and he turns and looks at me and excuse my language, but I got to say it right. He turns back at me and goes, I don't listen to that shit. and I remember I text my mom on the way home, like crying, like Mr. Joe don't like me. Fast forward though. As that went along, he would turn to me and look. He was like, "The best thing you could do is put clowns on the field." Or like he hated the music, hated the whole. I get it. Like as we go forward, he wasn't ready for what was coming, so he would blame me. So finally, it took a while. It took probably 6 months to a year, and finally he walked in and he looked in before the game and he saw me and I would come in early. I kept to myself and he goes, "Hey, I heard you on Saturday. You're pretty good. Don't tell anybody I listened."
I'll be damned.
And that was better than a check. That was everything. And so and he didn't have to be this way with me, but that became like somebody that I knew had my back and somebody that was paying attention. Yeah. So when I lost my job with the Browns, I was beside myself because I didn't do nothing wrong, but the game is the game.
Right.
Yeah.
And Joe Tate was the person that kind of Joe Tate and David Lee Morgan kind of got me out of my funk. And like Joe Tate told me, he was like, you haven't done anything until they take something away from you that's truly yours. He was like, they lost, not you. And he said, F them. And I remember how easy he said it. And he was like, you're talented, man. He was like, he goes, that's their problem. And it was the best advice I ever got.
Right.
Wow.
That's awesome, man.
Listen, you've got a book in you, man. And I know David Morgan is good at capturing these types of stories, man.
He's all over me to write one. It's coming. But as you guys know, some of the best stories can't be written because you got to tell it yourself sometimes. And that's why it works what I do, because players trust me because they know I'm not going to tell the dirtiest of deeds.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, let me just.
Yeah, go ahead.
When my kids were coming up, I raised my kids in Maryland, and at Hopkins was a doctor by the name of Ben Carson, who maybe you know him from Trump administration. So I'm not claiming that guy, but the guy that was the doctor
was outstanding. And he had done the first brain transplant and all this other stuff. And he had a play written about him called, well, actually it was a play was called Gifted Hands, but the book that he wrote was called Gifted Hands as well. And so it just told his story. And his story is similar to yours in that he had to overcome all kinds of stuff. As a matter of fact, as a kid, he was thought to have a learning disability, but he overcame all this stuff through the encouragement of his mother, mostly, not his father. But that stuff, man, kids in Maryland were taking field trips to go hear this play every year. And your story is that kind of inspiration, especially in these days where they're just talking about anybody that's successful. It must be DEI. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so clearly, man, you've demonstrated that you've had successes, you've had failures, you've demonstrated your talent, and you've persevered through difficult times. Man, that story needs to be told to somebody.
I appreciate it. And the main thing for me, because now and Jay knows how I am, like, because I mentioned all these people, the main thing I truly try to do, I got a nephew that's playing football over at Copley, and now all my friends' kids, I realize, because like I got a nephew, right? My sister's boy that lives down in Miami. He's one of the top trainers in the country. And when he got into it, like my sister was like, what makes you think you can do this? And he was like, Uncle's took me, because when he told me what he wanted to do, like all the way back in 2015, I had him at spring training. I was like, make a choice. You can go to spring break or you can come to spring training and stay with me. I'll take care of you. And I'll hook you up with the right people that are with the Indians at the time. And lo and behold, man, in 2017, I come out of the field for a game and my nephew's out there getting Corey Kluber warmed up. And I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But you're right. There is an impact on the words and the way you go about things. And I do want to, I want to help everybody, because the other thing for me was, we all grow up with that dream to play on an NFL football field or play on a Major League Baseball field. And it's corny, but my whole thing was always, my parents, everybody was like, hey, if you can't be on the field, my whole thing was I just wanted to find a way to be at a game. Like I wanted to find a way to be like, I was smart enough to like look around and be like, all right, there's 22 guys on the football field on every play, but look at all them dudes on the sideline. Look at all these people. And that really was my whole thing, man. Like you always say, shoot for a star. And if you don't get the top one, if you get up there, you can get you find one. And I tried to simplify it that way, because I love what sports brings out in people and how real, like that, to me, the last real place you talk now, where you talk are in clubhouses and locker rooms.
Absolutely.
And y'all know what I mean. Like it's the one place where like you can be from Dominican, you can be from Washington, you can be from wherever, and we can disagree, but because we got to go out and pull the boat the same way, at 7:00, we can have real talks. And we've lost that in this country. We've lost being able to, like, some of my best, like I met up with my best friend the other night, Saturday night, and for the first 45 minutes, all we did was fight. But like, but it was disagreed, but it was, and like everybody looking at us like we crazy. We having the time of our life.
Well, let me say real quick. We all golf together. We're in a golf group. It's called the Pin Seekers. There's about 20 of us. We play every Sunday. And literally after golf, most of us hang out for about an hour or two, have beer, have a couple cigars, and it's therapeutic. It's when we talk about those things that's going on in our life, whether it's work, family, kids, whatever.
Right.
So I'm a big proponent of that.
We need that. Men need that. We need to say that. We need that. We really do.
Piggyback on what my brother was saying. Your life is a book, and I wrote a book a couple years ago. I got my second one coming out later this summer. But take notes whenever you can, and you don't have to put those, together at this point. But a book is just a compilation of all your notes.
Right.
And you've shared so many stories with us today that are just fantastic, and would be a part of your legacy and something for your kids to read and your grandkids to say, wow, everything Dad went through and Granddad went through. So that would be my only advice in terms of what you do now towards the book. Just take some notes and keep them somewhere.
I appreciate it. I will. And like
put it together.
And it's funny you bring up kids, because as a parent, and I'm sure you guys know, my kids don't. And I guess this is important. My kids don't care about what my career is. They do, they do. They know. They grow up in a way that no other kid does. But for them, because my wife keeps me in check, we keep each other in check. Yeah. And really, I'm still best friends with the people I've always been best friends with. And to me, I think my whole thing is, like, I make the joke, once I get my kids through college, then I can do all that stuff, because that is the hardest thing for me is like, I got a buddy that always tells me, he goes, man, you trying to raise your kids like you were raised. He was like, it ain't the same, dog. Like you ain't living in the same world that they lived in. And it's true, but I'm still trying to go off of that. And it's hard for me at times because like I coached my son's 10-year-old basketball team this year and I wasn't supposed to. Nobody else would do it. And man, I learned so much about patience and just it was eye-opening. And at the end of the year, my dad put his arm around me. He goes, hey man, I'm proud of you. And I go, if I had hair, I would have pulled it all out, dog.
That's no doubt, man. But see, that's the thing though, why I think you have that rapport, whether it's on the radio, whether it's on TV, whether you're on the sidelines, wherever you do an interview, you're genuine. And all the people I talk to that know you, the first thing they say, and I was just kidding these guys before we went on air, I said, you know what? I've never heard anybody say a bad thing about Andre. And I said, this is no bullshit.
That's
wild. It's the truth. It's always the biggest thing that comes out first. He's genuine. Yeah. Andre is a generally nice guy. He's just a good dude. I always hear that. And it comes through with your sideline reporting everything else. It's so personal, and the guys seem to love you. You know, they report it. Right. One of the things you mentioned earlier is the key. And I always said that about why I didn't write a book either. I haven't yet. I don't want to say the things that I know that can still hurt people or still do things. But I know them. And and I've got a million of them, but I can talk with you. I'm not that guy. That's why people talk to you. That's why they believe. That's why they love being around you. They know they can share those stories, and Andre's not going back and leaking information or telling stories that they say, oh, shit, man, I can't, I can't trust this guy. Yeah. It comes across when you're doing that it's genuine, and they know that.
Well, you guys all know that once you even in like I was just talking to my nephew about this. I was like, because he had a good year. He was all like, all local city, whatever. And I was like, you got more girls liking you. And he looked.
Oh, we lost him.
It freeze. Bro.
Yeah. All right, if you can hear us.
Especially these guys that I deal with.
Okay. Hey, we lost.
I can hear y'all.
I got you.
Yeah, so good.
You got me now?
Yeah, you're good. We got you're seeing girls now or something like that. After that, we lost.
Okay, yes. Okay, I was like, hey, you're more popular now because you made some tackles and you made some interceptions. I go, you don't look no better though. and my point is, and I know this with the players, and they've told me enough. Just because you get $1 million don't make you better, but people treat you different. And the genuine part for me is I bust balls with guys, with millionaires, like I talk to everybody else. And as you guys know, you pick up on who wants something. And I tell these guys, I don't want nothing. I don't need nothing. Like I can do my job with or without you. Yeah. And if you got, and my number one rule is the rule of life. And I want everybody, I want my kids to follow. Yep. Whatever I say about you with the microphone, I'm willing to say in your face. And if you got a problem with it, I tell them, come talk to me. We can talk. I've yelled and screamed at me. And like Terry Francona would laugh because he would be like, man, this is the best shit ever. He was like, you solve problems I don't even need to because you tell them the truth. And
I'm laughing because you turned it into your father.
I
Whether you know it or not.
It's true. Yeah. But it's hard. But y'all, Jay, you know this. Y'all know this. It ain't hard to be genuine, man. It's not.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that so many people got to fake it and try to be something that they ain't. Yeah. And it ain't worth it, man. Like if you're gonna go down, like, and that's the one thing Joe Tate kind of taught me. And his thing was like, if you're gonna go down in flames and they're gonna fire you and treat you like crap, go down as you. And like that's genuinely how I'm gonna go about life.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you see that with a lot of interviewers that they don't know enough about you. And when they're talking to you, they're looking for any angle to get ahead, to do that.
Yes.
That's why you don't give them the great interview, or people don't want to talk to them.
Because you know that. All right, Jarrett Bell. I try to remember names. Jarrett Bell was writer. Black man, wrote for USA Today for over 20 years, NFL writer. Still around. He didn't know me. I was a young guy in the Browns locker room. And it's right what you just said, Jay. He looked at me, and a brother named James Walker, who worked down at the Atlanta Journal-Constitutional for a while, worked for ESPN, and he looked at both of us. He said, how many guys are in this locker room? And we both were like, 53. And he goes, well, you should know 53 stories. He goes, and when I say that, you should know 53 stories that you don't have to go up with a microphone and put it in their face. You should be able to go up to each one of these guys and ask them about their high school or college rivalry or who they grew up with and who their favorite player was. Yeah. And he's like, if you do that, when you got to ask a hard question with the microphone in front of them, they're going to respect you and they'll answer it. But if you don't talk to them for the first time, you go up to them for the first time after they've missed a field goal or after they missed the block, and you say that, they don't got no respect for you. And that hit home with me because that's all I want. All I want is respect. And so when I ask a guy the hardest or easiest question, they know I genuinely know what happened in the game. I know what's going on with them.
That makes a huge difference, man. And again, that's what makes the difference when you ask those hard questions. If I respect you and I know you're just being honest, I'm going to be honest because that's the way we all want to be. But there's much of that BS out there, and that's what you try to avoid or guys get upset about because shit gets twisted and it comes out not the way you said it. You go, oh boy, and then it's too late.
Right. Well, it makes me mad on the beat that I cover because, and I hate it because I get sometimes, oh, he's too close to the players, and what you don't get when you say that is like, no, I'm too close to human beings, and I don't like when humans get treated wrong. If you're gonna quote me, use my whole quote. Use the question with it. Like I don't want to play gotcha, and we got a lot of people that ask gotcha questions. You know what I mean? And it's like, and I always remember this, and this is the main thing, man. I know what it's like to fail at sports. And there's nothing worse. When you mentioned that Massillon game, and man, that Massillon game happened so long ago, and I killed him. But
we got you now.
So man, damn, you fumbled on
you just fumbled.
But it's so bad as
you said.
Like what I about that though was with the fumble though. I knew that when I was talking to you about it. I didn't have to bring that up because I know what failures happen and what things being and doing the game. But by doing that, it's the same that when you interview guys and talk to them, they know you know that mistakes happen, shit happens, and it's terrible timing. But that's part of life. But I can go through that. I don't have to bring that up to you. I don't have to bring a point up. But look, you had a great game, but you fumbled a couple times. You know, you don't need to do that. Now, if there's something you're trying to bring out of someone, fine. But otherwise, man, you don't have to tell those stories.
Half of that stuff.
I'm sorry, you got me. My bad.
Hey, we were just bragging about it that. Well, Phil, you said what you just said that about the talking like this. And not being able to get out these kind of stories out of people.
Yeah, well, actually, I didn't say any of that. So Bro said it all. But
that's how I read it.
But I will say this, and I'm sure you're familiar with that confrontation that LeBron had with Stephen A. a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to be critical of anybody in that, but the point that it brings up is that that microphone can be a weapon in the wrong hands. And it's a shame that, somebody can be a bully with that thing because it really does affect other people's lives. Now, I'm not saying Stephen A. did something or didn't. Quite frankly, I'm not, that's not what this conversation is about. But there's a lot of people that do use that microphone to hurt people when they don't have to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anything
because it's just like the microphone is a dangerous thing. All right, y'all moving. You said the microphone's a dangerous thing.
Right.
Yeah. No, you said that. That's where you started.
It is because a lot of people don't understand the power of it. And sometimes the arrogance comes along with it because we always say, well, the man with the microphone gets the last word, right? Yeah. But you forget what it's like to be a human being. And the LeBron Stephen A. thing to me is great because it's a real conversation. LeBron's being a dad, and I'm 100% with him being a dad.
Yeah.
But when your son's a professional, and I don't blame. And Bronny don't deserve all this, but Bron put Bronny in this situation.
Right.
And should Bronny be a part of the conversation on these national TV shows? Is any other second round guy picked there? No.
Yeah.
So that's a slippery slope. And I think, hey, look, when you see the money that Stephen A. Smith is getting, when you see the prestige, my running joke, and it pisses off my wife and people, but I always say it. I was like, there's some blonde in college right now that's going to take my job at some point in time. I say it jokingly. At the same time, all it takes is one man in the company that's into that and not caring about what my true is.
Yeah,
I'm a realist, and I know that. And people laugh. We had a player, Mike. God, I got to remember his name. Michael Aviles. My first year doing the job with the Indians Guardians, because it was a blonde that I replaced, and. How the players were at first. They was like, man, you ugly compared. We were messing around. And I know finally one time, and I would just say to them, they ain't hired me because of my looks. We would all laugh about it. But Michael Villas put his arm around me. And he said, hey, bro, He was like, there's somebody out there that likes how you look. Don't put yourself down. Keep kicking butt and don't pay attention to what these dudes are saying. They're gonna bust your balls no matter what.
Yeah.
And at the time, I wasn't hurt. You know what I mean? But it meant something that he told me that, because he was right. I can't get caught up in that. But you're right. There's so many people that we put on a pedestal because of the microphones. And look, people ain't made for prestige. People aren't made to get complimented.
Yeah.
It's scary. I see it, and I won't say names. I've been around a lot of people in the last 20 years that I've watched go from answering phones, then they get their own show and you can't tell them nothing. And I never want to be that person. Right. And that's why I try to keep people around me. It's the number one rule. Keep people around you to check you. Like I always say, when I see somebody out in a bad outfit, they ain't got good friends. Yeah. Right. Because if you got good friends, I say that shit don't match. They'll tell you.
Okay. Well, listen, go ahead. I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I wanted to talk a little baseball. Last year was clearly thrilling, especially at the end of the season and the postseason. What are your thoughts about what's going to happen with the Guardians this year?
They do an unbelievable job, and I know people around here don't like hearing it, but it's real. They do an unbelievable job of scouting out people more than weights and heights. Like that stuff matters, but I think they do a great job of whoever they bring in as players. They bring in people that you can push, people that, my last rule to my kids before they play sports is be a good teammate. And it's not just about being a good teammate, but it's understanding the game and understanding what's best for you. Mm-hmm. And so I'll be honest with you. Last year, I thought they'd be lucky to be 500, but they got on a roll, man, and they believed in each other. And they, they found a way with that bullpen because there was no egos. Because you got a guy like Jose Ramirez, man. I'll put it this way. Jose Ramirez is one of my favorite people in the world, not because he hits home runs. And I got to tell you, and you guys being who you are, I want to say this and I'll go back to the team. One of my hardest things with Jose Ramirez, language barrier is one, but we get past that. Mm-hmm. But I've gone to his home where he grew up in the Dominican Republic and no running water. It makes you cry to the point where I walked out of the house and I called my dad and I start crying because being in the Dominican where Jose Ramirez is from reminded me of where my dad was from in Alabama. Uh-huh. And I ended up having the best time in the world, but we didn't do very much. They fed me like a king. But seeing like what he was from, it made complete sense in who he is. Yeah. And he plays the way he plays. He lives the life that he lives. He wants to be in Cleveland because he comes from so little that he appreciates so much. Mm-hmm. He told me last year, we were messing around, and he was like, "Hey man, tell Antonetti I'm gonna get the home run record here in Cleveland. He just got to sign me to another contract." Uh-huh. And we were having a beer or whatever. And I was like, "Well, how much?" He was like, "Dre, I got all the money in the world that a boy from Bonnie, Dominican Republic will ever need." I've been around a lot of athletes, man, a lot of them. There ain't that many that are that down to earth. And I say that because all Jose needs, he's like a great running back to me. Mm-hmm. All he needs is that much. Uh-huh. And so every guy on that team, Stephen Kwan says it all the time. If Jose does it, I got to do it. Like they've got that type of guy that Jose don't care how much you're paying the Yankees. He don't care how much where this guy was drafted. Uh-huh. His whole thing was let me get on the field. And I think that is a motivator like no other when you get a special person like that. So I'm done. This is my 11th season. I'm blown away by what I see every year, but I know this, we're going to have good pitching. Mm-hmm. We'll all be complaining about the hitting at some point this season because we won't, mm-hmm. But the one thing they showed last year, as long as they're not last in home runs, right, they're going to be all right, man. It's been the journey with this team. Like, I'm getting ready to go on Thursday back to Arizona, and it's crazy because Terry Francona was great to me because he let me be myself, and he got to the point and said, "Hey, man, you're part of this dugout as much as everybody else." Uh-huh. And that meant a lot because I ain't tell y'all about Eric Mangini not liking me, but that's okay. Eric Mangini was young in his career. I don't fault him now. He hated. Here's a quick story I got to tell, and it's just funny where my life is. So I was doing Browns, and Romeo Purnell and we got along great. I was young though. When I got the sideline job, I was 26. I wasn't ready. Like I didn't know. I didn't know what I didn't know. But I was still me. Uh-huh. And the players. Man, football is in my blood. Like I go to high school games. I call out every play. Jay, you know how I am. Like I call out every. I can tell you. It's in my blood. Mm-hmm. So, Josh Cribbs and Phil Dawson, players would come to me and just talk. Like Ruben, like the play, like like you don't talk to nobody if you don't want to talk to nobody.
Yeah.
So Romeo didn't care because he got to know who I was. Mangini, he wanted to control everything. He was little Bill Belichick. Like he literally came with Patriots letterhead when he first came to Cleveland, finding people for water bottles. It was crazy. But at the time, I'll be honest, I probably had some arrogance, some youth to me, not aware of everything around me because I was comfortable. And Eric just didn't like, even Terry Pluto went to him and was like, Eric, get to know Andre. You would have loved him as a football player. So fast forward to the last game of the season, I get told, you talk to a player during the game, you're going to get fired. And I was like, dang. I was like, all right. I didn't know that was also told to the players. So opening kickoff, Phil Dawson kicks the ball off. He kicks it through the end zone. Cribbs runs through. They run off the field, and both of them come right off the field and stand side by side. And I'm like, yo. I was like, I don't know if y'all heard, but they was like, yeah, we heard, and we stand with you. And I was just like,
that's awesome.
Yeah. That means
it was great. And then my ass got fired. But it means everything today.
Oh, that's crazy, man. Well, you know that I remember I told this guy I do dumb stuff. Like I texted him during the game because I was like, you know what? This is so exciting watching them last year. I said, they seem like they're just having a great time. And I get a text back. He goes, bro, I'm not kidding you. He goes, that's how they are.
Yeah.
They all have fun. They're just all good dudes. They like playing. And I went, it comes across when you watch them. And now that makes sense with that story you're talking about, Jose, and then with Stevie Kwan following and stuff. And I'm one of them guys worried because we lost him and there's a nailer on that side of the boat. And I'm worried about it. And I question you and I ask but it's entertaining and you can see why they have the success after what you're telling us. It makes sense.
Yeah. And like the thing, like, I don't like it. It's funny because I always tell people, like, all right, before Jimenez got traded, my son came home. That's one of his favorite players. Like, that's one of his boys. So I tell him, I'm like, hey, man, I think Hemi is about to get traded. And he looked at me. He was like, for who? And I was,
Oh, yeah.
no, you guys hear me? All right. So I tell him, you got me? Okay.
Yeah,
so I tell him, I was like, I don't know. He goes, well, if they don't get Vladimir Guerrero or Bichette, it's going to be a dumb trade, and walked away. So I was like, dog, they ain't getting him.
Yeah.
But also the point was this story though is this. So he was pissed when they made the trade, and I was like, dog, this is just how they do business. I know it's hard to deal with, but this is how they do stuff. And he goes, well, who's going to replace him? And I go, remember that kid that you were at the playoff game with, and the guy that you were at Innings Fest, Juan Brito? He goes, his eyes get real big. He goes, yeah. And I go, he's pretty good too. And that's what I know how they go. It's a business. And what they do, they run an unbelievable business. They knew they had depth at second base. They knew that they weren't going to play Naylor what they probably were going to pay him. I know it's, as a fan, it's hard because you want to buy a jersey and have a name on it. No. Yeah. But the way they do the system, it works. And you know what the crazy thing is? The players walk away and they understand it. That's why Shane Bieber's back. Shane Bieber told me last year after he got hurt, I saw him in California, and he was like, Dre, you know what I've noticed now that I'm away from the team? And I was like, what? And he was like, dog, they're really good at finding the right people and getting the best out of us. And he came back. He had more. I know for a fact, Shane Bieber had bigger contract offers from Boston and Detroit for multiple years. He came back because he goes, I'm going through this surgery. I'm about to have my first kid. I need to be somewhere where I trust the environment that they'll take care of me, and I know they will.
That is awesome.
Let me ask you this: talking about organizations and trades, and I know that you're dug in with the Guardians pretty good, but today the Browns traded the 5th round pick for Kenny Pickens. Were you aware of that?
Little hands. Oh yeah. I'm on top. Yeah.
Give me your.
Come on, man.
You know that they make Kenny being the answer going forward. They still have the second pick in the draft, but I'm curious as to your reaction to that trade.
Well, the one that you can't, because what's the date? It's March 10th. Yeah. So I don't know what the roster's gonna be in September. I'll say this: I like Kenny Pickett at the University of Pitt. He's a hard-nosed kid. He does play hard. The hand size is an issue, but at least you know you have a guy that's played in the AFC North.
Yeah, that's funny. There you are.
Dang.
Hey, technology, man. What can we say?
I know.
So we were, I guess, wrapping up with your reaction to the DTR and fifth round pick trade to Philly for Kenny Pickens.
Right.
Yeah, you want to?
Yeah. I think, hey, he's played in the AFC North. He is a gritty kid.
Yeah.
You know, like he's somebody that understands what it's like to play in this division. I think that's important.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that's important, which I hate, and I'm glad y'all asked me about it. There ain't no reason in the hell that the Browns shouldn't draft Shedeur Sanders. I love that. I love that a kid that's grown up around pros, a kid that's grown up and understands what the league is, a kid that knows what coverages are. When it was Eli Manning and the Manning brothers, we all raced to do it.
Yeah.
I know he's not a great athlete, but I would trust him on 3rd and 4 before I trust many other kids that are out there.
You're
right
saying
now.
if Cam Ward is gone, that's not the end of the world. Is that what you said?
No.
Okay.
And I love Cam. To be honest with you, I think Cam is a better specimen. But if he isn't coached right and with the right team, he may struggle more than Shedeur. Because Shedeur actually, I think Shedeur in a real offensive set with a real lineman on a 3-step, 5-step, 7-step, he's going to get the ball out. Where Cam is going to hold and look for big plays. And ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But y'all know how the league works. If you constantly looking for the big play, they're going to get you.
Yep. That's a great point.
You made me feel better about that.
Well, you know, hey, you got to keep Miles. Because Miles said that money there. But my whole thing is the offensive side of the ball, man. Where they go from there is key. And I don't know. I don't know.
Wait, but you notice football ain't changed. Like when you look at the last 4 or 5 teams standing, they all ran the ball. You look at college football, they all run the football. And the first NFL team that hires a fullback and when they want to put them safety split and just runs up the middle, going to be a genius. Football is in a whole circle, and y'all notice. And when you watch the end of the year, it was the best rushing teams that won.
Right.
And the only how the Browns are going to win is get back to using the zone blocking, play action, and then get a lead, and then you let Miles go crazy. It's not that hard.
Losing Callahan really hurt them.
It did, and Callahan didn't like. I gotta be careful.
Right.
The politics in football play too much in Berea. If they would have stuck to their guns and stuck to what they were doing, they would have been fine. And that's part of the reason Miles was pissed. To be completely honest.
Okay, yeah, that's a great point.
Jay, think about it. Y'all all know this, and I ain't got nothing against Deshaun Watson.
Right.
When you guarantee that much money to somebody that's never played a down for the team, and I've been all this, you know how locker rooms work.
And he didn't want to be there. Let's be clear.
Right.
He right. Crossed off his list.
And all the other stuff that they had to hear and listen to. Like, think of any of your jobs. Anybody who wants to go to work for that, and I'll deal with that if you go out there and you put up 5,000 yards, you put me to But when we got to go through what we got to go through, we can't win, but we can win with quarterbacks off the street.
Right.
That's a slap in the face.
It is. You're exactly right.
He's posting videos of living the high life. That just it doesn't fit.
Yeah, that's huge. But we got the Cavs and we got the Guardians coming up. We're all right, and then we go with again. I just like pro games anyway. But I'll be bugging you, and we want to have you on like a recurring basis because we have you writing your book and it's covered all the damn sports. I want your opinion.
That too.
Okay.
Do you play golf?
Nah, I need to, man. You know what? I'm competitive as hell. And I don't like being bad at nothing.
My last story real quick before I say I had enough. You and Arch Manning. I got to say, you guys got to have a ball because every game that I watch, there's always like good banter back and forth, but there's always a line that's kind of like, there's a subliminal message where both of you get it. Something went on, something happened, and you both got to laugh or make a remark about that. But I'm going, oh, them dudes are having a good time again.
We push it. Jay, you know the coolest thing about my career? One of the coolest. I got a bunch. Jim Jones, Doug Deacon, Rick Manning have been so awesome to me. You know, look, what we do in our broadcast, it's not like every other baseball broadcast. And part of the reason why is because of my partners. As my partners got to know me, they were like, open his mic and let him go. He knows what he's doing. You guys when you watch a game, you genuinely see who we are. And both of them, Matt has been great to me. Arch has been great to me because they trust me. They like you're right. We say stuff. Trust me, man. We get called in the office every once in a while, but because people love it and because we love each other, it works. And like we literally like we can go a week in the off season without talking. We can send one text to each other before you know it, we giving each other the finger. Like it's real, man. Like we got each other's back, and it's awesome. They're the best teammates I've had, man.
That's awesome, man.
Excellent.
Well, listen, we appreciate the time you have given us. Before we let you go, I got to get your opinion on the Cavaliers, man. Are they going all the way this year? Or?
Yeah, they're going. If not, they're gonna go pretty close. And it goes back, and it's gonna sound corny, but I've worked for all three local teams, man.
Right.
And the Cavs as a whole, they treat people right. They do things right. They have an owner that'll put money down when you say we need to fix something or do something. They do that, and they did the one thing that we're not good at anymore. They used patience and didn't pay attention to everybody else, and they kept these boys together.
Yeah.
It's a good call.
Keeping these boys together and letting Evan Mobley mature into who he is.
Yeah.
Like I did the Cavs, but in Evan Mobley's rookie year. And Evan Mobley isn't the normal AAU kid that we're used to. I mean, like, we would make fun of him on the plane and ask him because it was easier to drinking milk and cookies. But you know what? The team accepted him and didn't try to force him into something. And Donovan Mitchell is a real star. Like he realizes he needs Darius Garland and he realizes he needs Evan Mobley to be a star. Yeah. So I want them to win a championship because they do it the right way. And seriously, they really do. And it's crazy because before one of our last playoff games, they came over. It was Donovan, Darius Garland, it was Darius, Mitch, and Tristan Thompson. And Darius, my daughter loves Darius. And so he saw me and he was like, "Where's Bella at?" And he's giving her a hug. They're taking a picture. And Donovan looked at me and Tristan looked at me. And this is before they played one game this year. And they said, "Dre, we got something. Look out." They didn't lie.
Really?
They knew. Tristan told me, because I know Tristan from when he was here the first time. Yeah. And Tristan said, and my wife goes, "Well, how do you know the Kardashian guy?" And I'm like, but they knew they had something special before it started. And I think that's the most beautiful part.
Well, it shows too. It shows in this team.
It really does.
Yes.
Yeah. I was I had one more. I'm sorry. I got to ask this question because you just brought it to mind. Because you've been affiliated with the Cavs and the Browns and the Guardians, how would you assess each organization? And I'm not asking you to criticize because clearly, listen, I'll say it. The Browns have dropped the ball more than any of the organizations in Northeastern Ohio. We get that, but
all right, I'll give it to you.
They draft and scout. How would you assess each of those organizations?
Every great business or every bad business, it starts at the top. The Dolans get beat up in this town, but when they ask you to donate clothes or donate food or something, I've seen them fill the trucks right next to me. Mm-hmm. I've seen Dan Gilbert go out of his way. He can be on the crazy side a little bit, but you know he cares. Mm-hmm. He goes out of his way to show people. And when the thing I love about Dan Gilbert is if you show him something that can make his business successful, mm-hmm. he will stand behind you and push you and help you and push you forward. Okay. The Guardians, same way. They keep a lot of people within. All you got to do is look around baseball. Half the general managers worked in Cleveland at some point in time in baseball. Mm-hmm. The Browns' problem is I could do a whole show on this, and because I wholeheartedly believe this, and it will be criticism, but it's real. The Browns' problem starts all the way back to when they left, and this city has never figured out. They rushed them back, gave them a bad stadium. We should have get rid of the colors and everything else, my opinion. And the owners here don't understand here. And the current person here, he tries hard, but I don't think he really has a grasp of what true leadership and true ownership is. Mm-hmm. And it's not like I know people. We've all worked in places when you walk in, you don't feel comfortable. You're looking over your back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it really does.
When you feel like you got it, it's not all the people there because there's some good people there, and I got to there's some really good people. Yeah. But when you're somewhere and it's just like, and it continued like the whole Miles thing that just happened. I don't think they have a true respect, or I shouldn't say respect, a true understanding of why they have one of the best fan bases in the game.
Yeah. I don't get the whole Deep Podesta thing. Like,
dog. Okay. Wait, think about this. They went to the playoffs 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
They let the quarterback go. They got rid of the offensive coordinator, and they got rid of the offensive line coach.
Right.
Where they do that at?
Right. Where do they do that at?
That tells you how the infrastructure just ain't infrastructure.
Right.
But they want to build a new stadium and take y'all money.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll stop there.
Stop there too.
You got anything, Phil?
I'm good. I'm good.
Hey, no, man, I appreciated Dre, and I tell you, it was more informative talking with you this time than normal. I just usually just listen to all the sports stuff with you. But I loved hearing the story, man. I want to see that book written also.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah, I'm
It's
so
fun.
impressed with your story, man. And just
Thank
meeting you, I'm very, very happy to meet you. And listen, even though you don't golf, you could come out and hang out and have a great time.
Oh,
with us.
absolutely.
So consider that.
Absolutely.
At some point in time, and it's getting close, I am going to start playing, and I will come out and I'll smoke cigars and I'll drink it. I'll drive the cart all day long. I want to do that with y'all.
You
made
will
it.
kick yourself that you did not start earlier. That's
I am already. For real, I am.
Yeah.
Listen, on behalf of the Three Brothers podcast, I just want to thank you again for the time that you gave us today. Your stories were outstanding.
Thank y'all.
Yeah,
I think I'm breaking up.
man. It's just wonderful stories. Wonderful listening to you. So come back and join us again. And I guess Jay is going to keep us
Oh yeah, man.
up on
I'll be
your
texting.
travel. I know you're going to Arizona Thursday, so safe travels there. And check in on us, man. You're welcome back anytime.
Absolutely.
He's frozen, but
All right, it's frozen, but you get it. All right, brother. Oh.
I'll tell you what that was. It's time for What Grinds Your Gears. Coming up next.
All right, welcome back. This is one of our favorite segments. This is called What Grinds Your Gears. We always ask each week for your participation. If you have anything that you want to list in terms of what grinds your gears, and what grinds your gears are just those annoyances, those daily things that just gets up under your skins that annoy you. We invite you to write in to the 3brospod at gmail.com. That's the number 3 brospod at gmail.com. So let's get started. We got some good ones this week. We got to write in. We're going to read those. But let's start off with some of our own. Who wants to start? Phil, you got one?
Okay.
You
Go
know
ahead,
what?
bro.
I'll go ahead.
Okay, come on, Jay.
Well, you know what? And the thing is, it's not like it's the huge deal like these big things happen, but hackers. And I'll tell you why hackers. That's one of the damn reasons I'm off Facebook. I'm tired of that hack crap.
Man, you've had some terrible luck
A
with your
terrible
Facebook
luck.
page, bro.
Now, and here's what's bad. I get hacked, right? And this dude takes over, a person takes over.
Have you seen this Facebook
and start
page?
putting
It's
on
like,
that.
it's like a cartoon.
Oh,
character.
Yeah,
Is that right?
What do they call those?
He's selling crypto.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And he's got my avatar.
Yeah, that's what I meant to
My
say.
avatar. And so right away I reported to Meta. I had people send in stuff over and over again. And they were like, well, we're not sure. We're not sure.
They went all out. They got signs saying, "Thank you, Jay, for your advice." on
Thank you, Jay, for
And I was
Bitcoin.
right
And I
there,
had
Jay.
some.
But that's not Jay.
I had some fool contact me, buddy. Like, hey, bro, if I didn't know you were in crypto, I said, Jesus Christ. No, I don't know enough about currency, period. Let alone crypto. So I was really ticked. And after all that reporting, I get shut down for 180 days from
180
Meta.
days.
For out of nowhere. That post, they give you no reason, no email, no nothing. And I go, well, what am I supposed to do? Well, that crypto dude's still up there.
Right.
Having a good time. Well, what the hell is that? So I didn't get hacked. And then how many times you get a message that says, hey, don't accept any friendships.
Right.
I've been hacked.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm going, and I probably already did. Hacked again. I changed. So 2 times I changed over. And this last time, I can't get an answer. They won't let me on for
I don't
nothing.
know how that happens. When I get friend requests that I don't know if I know or not, I just kind of see if we have mutual friends
Right.
or, I mean,
But
I think that's where it originates from. I
Yeah,
think
but how do you
accept-
even know for sure? And here's my thing. You hackers, get a goddamn life. Broke ain't got nothing for
That
you.
is your life.
Yeah, no, I ain't got nothing for you. You ain't gonna get rich off. You ain't make me money. You ain't my bank account. But damn, man, you just ruined I'm old. So
Right.
we talk about being caveman. I like to be on and just to catch up with everybody. See
Right,
what-
right.
And you strip me of that shit. So I'm like, yeah, hackers, man. Doggone, man.
And how many days? I know it was 180. How far into that are you?
You know what? I got on my wife and we tried to try to go into different names, try to do anything to get on back there. Ain't no way. They know everything about broke. They ain't let me nowhere near. So I'm like, I'm done. Facebook, so I'm on X, which is Twitter, and I'm just waiting for something to shut me down there. They shut me down on Instagram, and I did get in and complain about that. And they went, "Oh, yeah, you're right. You didn't do anything wrong." And they put me back on.
Okay.
But, no, man.
Hey, enjoy the 6 months. Is all.
Yeah, oh no, I'm done. I ain't getting back on. Space, I'm done. You know, Facebook, whatever. I'm done, man. I'm gonna stay on the other stuff, and that's why I do this podcast, getting that out.
Right.
People, I can talk to you that way. Get a hold of me. Check my X out. I'm on there. And that's
You
good.
can reach Brophy at
the
the3brospod@gmail.com.
Yeah, reach me on there, man. Send stuff to me, and I'll be on X giving more of my stuff out too. You can get a hold of me even on the. But go to the Facebook page, Three Brothers, and get a hold of me because damn, man, so again, that was my gripe. I hate that stuff.
What you got, Philly?
Well, first of all, when I accept somebody as a friend that I don't know, if they start having a personal conversation with me, they send me a message.
Yeah. How you doing?
That's
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you have had this experience, but I don't know if you have or not. Have you ever had an MRI?
I have.
Okay.
Yes.
In the tube?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know how tight that thing is, right?
Oh.
Okay. So when I was in medical sales years ago with GE, I sold MRI scanners.
Yeah.
And so you'd have to go to a site to demo these, a place that already had your scanner. You'd bring doctors to that site, and I would be the guinea pig. I'd go into the scanner. I'd be in there for over an hour sometimes, just, so that they could get all the scans and the doctors could view the film, and see if it, was satisfactory for them. And you know how tight that was.
Oh, yeah.
So the only way I could do it was I have to close my eyes because literally your shoulders are on the sides of that thing. You're really stuck in there. So I can handle that. But if I'm in the grocery store with my wife, in 5 minutes, if we're not out of there, I am going crazy. I can't take it, man. I just start shaking. You know what I mean? When I go to the store by myself, I know exactly what I want. I'm going in. I'm going exactly where I want. Now, I may pick up something on the way out, but I ain't going searching for anything. So it's just exactly what I want, and I'm getting the hell out of there, man. I cannot stand that. A mall is the exact same thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I just can't do it, man. I just can't do it.
Well, I don't blame you there because I'll go in and take my time because I know, again, what I'm looking for. She'll go in and just this lane, that lane, throw something. I go ballistic and she'll ask me if I want anything, and then it's something thrown in, and then it's keep going, and I head to the car. 9 times out of 10, I go to the car.
Department store, grocery store, doesn't matter.
Don't matter.
Which bacon would you like, this or this? Now, you know what the answer is.
Right.
But you can't say, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Just get the bacon, all right?
Just throw them both in. I don't care. Yeah, but no.
I've been there. I've definitely been there.
All right.
That's brutal about the MRI machine, though. I didn't know that.
Did it make all the noise stuff?
Oh, yeah, the knocking. Yeah, exactly.
And then put music on it. It didn't matter. I'd have to take myself away. That's crazy.
Oh, it's brutal, man. I'm telling you.
Woo, okay. That's a good one. Mine's a little bit more tame than that. I was, what I listed was, when you're on a tee box, right?
Yeah.
And you're on a roll at a golf course. Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And a car rolls by or a truck and blows the horn as you're about to tee off.
Right.
What is that?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't. This has happened. Akron, Cleveland.
Oh yeah.
We go to North Carolina.
Yeah.
I mean, is it worldwide?
Yes, it is.
And is it hereditary? Like, did their dads do it? And I mean, I can't believe this.
And people love being a jackass.
Oh, that drives me crazy.
Might be racially charged.
You think?
In North Carolina, they don't blow the horn. They do something else.
Yeah. I want to see somebody do that and then like get a flat or run into a traffic jam.
I see a tee off and hit right in their back of their window.
Some serious karma, exactly.
Oh, that drives me crazy. And I just don't understand. I guess I don't know. I just don't understand the thrill of that.
People like screwing with people.
Yeah.
Again, though, tells you about how interesting their life is. I guess.
So. We got some writings though. I wanna do a quick read. Jacob Thompson wrote in. Now, where's he from?
Talmadge, yeah.
Jacob wrote in. And thank you, Jacob, for writing in. And for those out watching, we need more write-ins. We've got a lot of friends with a lot of gripes.
We hear them.
We hear them. So we know you got some. So once again, the3brospod@gmail.com. So let's go with Jacob Thompson. He said, number one, gym etiquette. People who hog up a machine because they are fucking around texting or talking on the phone.
their phone, yeah.
And they're on the machine.
He's at a gym that, again, when you have circuits and everything, it's just common courtesy.
Yeah.
When you're done, get up, wipe your seat, move on.
Yeah.
But people sit there. Yeah, oh, jeez.
That reminds me, I'm giving $59 a month away to the
'Cause you're
Jewish
not going-
community center.
Yeah,
I've been there like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah. Yeah,
You don't get a
it's
senior rate.
Huh?
59 is pretty high.
Yeah, well, that's what
Did you
it
get the
is.
senior rate?
I got a treadmill right behind that wall that I should be using, and I wouldn't even need to do that thing. And that is the senior rate.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that for,
There was something else.
you and your wife?
Yes, for
Okay,
Patricia
okay,
and I
okay,
both.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
that makes
But there
sense.
was something, I can't remember what it was, but if you belonged, it would actually be a free membership.
If
Right.
you are Medicare, if you have the Medicare Advantage plan,
Was that what it
part of
was?
that is a silver sneaker membership.
Silver- I was
That's
gonna
what it
say
was.
silver
That's what
Silver
it
sneaker.
is.
Silver
Yeah,
sneaker.
you gotta get the Medicare
I'm
Advantage
on that.
plan.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And it's free.
Uh-huh.
Right, right.
Yeah. So cool.
Still don't mean people ain't answers on the machine.
This guy Jacob was on fire. The next
Yeah.
one is sauna etiquette. People like to get super close while sweating or walk over. Wait a minute. Or walk over you while sweating. Talking on your speakerphone while in this. I guess these are just different ones.
Oh,
in the
yeah.
sauna.
Uh-huh.
Talking on your speakerphone while in the sauna, doing yoga in the middle of the room, so you have to step around or over people to get to a seat. Yeah, that would bother the hell out of me.
Hell yeah.
Oh my goodness. I like the steam room way more than the sauna.
Yeah.
Sauna's nice, but that steam, boy.
I love them all, but the etiquette
Yeah.
of some of these places has just gone out the window too.
You ever wear a necklace going into the sauna?
That thing will burn the hell out of you.
Yeah.
Or your
That's a bad
watch.
move.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Yep,
you don't
yep.
realize how hot that is.
Yep.
But that steam, though, boy,
Yep.
that opens up my sinuses.
Big time. And it takes the
Yeah.
soreness out of your muscles, everything.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. He says also, why do we have paper straws wrapped in plastic on juice boxes?
Juice,
Makes
yeah.
no sense. That's a good one.
That's a Seinfeld
Yeah.
monologue.
Right,
You know what I mean?
You're right, exactly. I took that because I
Paper
started
straws wrapped
laughing.
in plastic. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah. Why? Yeah.
Let's see. People who litter, especially smokers, when they throw their butts out the car. That is something.
Yeah.
And you know, you think something as small as a
Yeah.
butt, but boy, if you see some of those in your yard or on the
Well,
sidewalk,
you see that too when they pull up and they open their door and just
Yeah.
toss them all out.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's
not
pretty
picking
big.
up after your dog, now that you mention that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
telling you.
Yeah, right.
And
I
the
think I
karma
told that
would
one
be
last week.
that they stepped in somebody else's crap. That they
Exactly
didn't.
right.
You ever
Yeah.
run over some dog shit with your lawnmower?
Oh man,
Yes.
it's in your tires.
Yes.
Bruh.
It screws up your
Yeah.
lawn, everything.
Oh, mad as hell.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to build a tree house just so I could.
Put a camera.
Yeah, fine.
No, I was gonna sleep
Sit
in there
there.
and wait for somebody to come
Yeah.
in with
That
their
was
dog.
yucky. You gotta clean it out of your tires.
Yeah, and you got to get in there with a,
Yeah.
toothpick and scrape all that.
Screwdriver, whatever. Yeah.
All right, sorry, Jacob. Anyway,
Yeah,
that's a long way from cigarette butts, but personal space in public. He writes, people who just don't get it usually spit when they talk.
Right up on you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. We know some spitters, right?
Yes,
You know any spitters?
I do.
I don't want to have this conversation right now.
Really? I'm not very. I have to like take my glasses off.
It's usually alcohol induced, though, right?
Well, there's some spitters. No. Okay. Well,
Okay. So anyway, those were from Jacob Thompson. Those were good. Thank you for writing in, Jacob.
Yeah,
Appreciate
Jacob.
it. I think we got a few more. Let's see. Oh, this is from Morty P in Connecticut, Hartford, Connecticut. He just said, waiting on your ride. I get that.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah. Waiting on your ride? You ever had to do that?
Wasn't there a commercial about that just recently? Oh, it was on Facebook. I
What?
saw it.
Yeah.
Where this woman was pissed at her daughter because she was 5 minutes late picking her up.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I hate the ones that you're waiting for a ride and you tell them, all right, 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock to be there. 2:15 comes and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't want to bug them.
Yeah,
You figured something wrong. 235. Now I'm pissed.
Yeah.
In the same way, waiting for someone to come out of a store.
yeah.
That one. If they said they're going to be done in 15 minutes, 15, not a half hour, 45.
Thing is, if you're waiting on the ride, you probably ask someone for a favor. So
Right,
I'm
yeah.
risking
I know
that.
you-
Or how do you demonstrate?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes they'll say, hey, how about I drive?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
But I should have known better.
Yeah.
Because you're an hour and a half late. I hate that.
I'm usually always driving though. I can't stand that, bro.
Yeah.
So, anyway, thanks, Morty P from Hartford. This one is from Jim from Kent, and Jim wrote in, the gas attendant is late turning on your pump. You know how you go in and you pay, and you come back out and your pump is not on. I don't know what's the attendant doing.
Well, that's the thing. They're supposed to turn it on. Now,
As soon as you give them the money, right?
Yeah, it happens to me. I've been out there.
Most people use a credit or a debit card.
But yeah, but it's me. I'm a cash guy. Sometimes I'm in there. I go just put 20 on number 10.
Right. Why you
I go
buying
out there,
something
it's
else?
cold out.
Right.
I'm hitting the dial.
Right.
Nothing. It's in my tank. Nothing.
What-
So I'm like,
What is the
they
guy-
got pump 9 on. I ain't at pump 9. It's a pump 10.
Hey.
Oh shit, that irritates me.
When you were dealing with somebody who knows they can't get fired because
Right.
ain't nobody replace
Pushing
them.
that job, yeah. Hey, what
They're
the heck?
testing.
Exactly. That's ball game.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
that's a good point too.
Yeah, that's a good one. And this one, we don't have a name on this. Self-checkout process. They just did the whole self-checkout process.
Oh,
I guess that's at the grocery stores. I was given a story about being at Acme,
yeah.
and Acme, and I like the self-check. It's faster, but Acme wants you to have your Acme card or something like that, and it turns out it's your phone number. Well, I didn't know that.
Right.
The thing on the dashboard came up and said, enter your Acme number.
Yeah.
And so, thankfully, someone who worked there hit it with their badge. But I got home and asked my wife, and she just said it's our phone number. Like I should know that.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Or why don't they put your phone number on the damn screen?
Well, yeah, I don't use it for that reason.
Huh?
I go through
Yeah.
and I don't have a card that says, I don't know what that shit. Find me a guy at the.
You got all this crap here.
Yeah, no, I'm terrible to it.
Hey,
Oh.
not only do you have to scan them yourself, but then when one of the prices isn't right, you got to sit there and wait
Oh no,
for
with the
somebody.
light coming on.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
That
the
drives
worst.
me crazy. And then when somebody's not there to be able to do it, you just sit
Right,
there.
right,
you know
right,
what I
right.
mean?
Yeah. No,
That drives me insane.
I don't like that either. Like paying by yourself.
That's where
like
we're
they
at
have
now.
to check
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
in, get
yeah.
your change right.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
man. God,
Okay.
I'm old because I don't like that.
Cool. Nico, you coming up? No? Okay.
I leave a snack.
All right, so that does it for this week's What Grinds Your Gears. We appreciate all the people that wrote in. Let's see, Jim from Kent, Morty
Yeah.
P from Hartford,
Jake,
Jason,
my man, yeah.
my man Jason from Talmadge. Once again, we encourage all write-ins to join us. The3brospod@gmail.com.
Yeah, I've been there, I run that, and you ain't from.